Desk.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in 2 o'clock as we head through the afternoon here. A couple hours left on a pretty busy afternoon as the market is concerned, trying to get back to the upside right now. One of the things I was just noticing helping here this afternoon is a little bit of a retracement, not only in the US dollar, but yields coming off after what happened yesterday, if you missed it. Again, the hawkishness of speak from Fed Chair Powell yesterday had yields racing once again into the close. DXY back to the upside. If you didn't see it there we go. There's the daily chart now. Big, ugly red candle forming back to the downside we go. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row straight higher for the dollar. Wasn't helping the overall market. Semiconductors under significant pressure. That was AMD, 4.5%. Rolling over again, dragging along the lows of the day right now for AMD. Noticed Apple a little bit of relative strength in big tech land, 0.32, trying to bounce right now. There was a big volume spike there through 169, but overall, it has been a pretty muted day as far as Apple is concerned. Just 0.35, yeah, tech or semiconductors, I should say, under pressure. NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, QCOM, all downside in a pretty big way. Banks are strong. JP Morgan standing out a little bit weak, still basically flat on the day. Everything else upside. Meta downside, Microsoft, Google still higher on the session as well to head into the final 2 hours here. We did get some positive earnings this morning. We'll get more. There's not much in the way of Netflix, obviously, after the close tomorrow. I don't think there's much in the way of headliners tonight. But as next week comes, we'll get into more big tech names. Nice bounce right now, though, for the overall market. 500 coming and going for the overall SPY. Let's touch on a few things. We'll do a little recap of what was available. If you haven't done so, grab the watch list. We send it out every single day before we come on at 8:30. If you haven't done so, grab that. It's a free resource, has everything on it you need to know. In the pre-market, Elon back at it today as well. Just saw Tesla actually pop up in front of me. I don't see anything on that, but there was a little bit of a volume spike there for Tesla trying to get back into positive territory. I have to reset one thing, guys. If you haven't done so, we talked about India this morning, but give me your thoughts on Tesla.
Tesla, Stressla, as it's called by
the Besla.
Other people. Yeah, I mean, you can throw whatever. It's a good thing about Teslas. You can kind of throw everything out there. Tesla is about to make some fresh highs, which is rewind to, I mean, any part of the first 45 minutes of the day when Tesla at the open absolutely dumped it. I like the 155 on Tesla. That was good for a couple of minutes, and then it made some fresh lows. But look, this is a different afternoon as Tesla's putting in higher lows. It broke out the opening range top. I was in the long that couldn't. It got to 157, like 50 or something on the 157 long. Now you're at 158. So this is clearly stair-step to the upside. There's going to be a grouping of things today. There's the good longs, the strong stocks that are higher lows and higher highs and all that good stuff, and then there's the names that are weak. Obviously, I mean, AMD, you already said, Brennan already said, is at its low of the day. Tesla has gone green, and even if the market doesn't completely reverse its trend, and it's not necessarily even through some resistance, Tesla has crept back. And it does matter a little bit that Tesla did get to that 150 area essentially on the daily. We got underneath 155 into that 153 change is the low. So it got within spitting distance of 150, and you get a little bit of a relief rally when everyone was looking at that key level. It's been a big trend line down there, essentially supporting the 150 for the last year on Tesla, and a bit of a relief rally here today. I was in Rivian, and I'm probably going to take the breakout again. Rivian was a break at 890 double top. It's now a double top at 898, so call it a $9 break for Rivian this afternoon too. What's up, Randy?
What's up, Randy? We wrote down on the sticky note today, Tesla 155. I mean, I guess we had it. I mean, we had a 154.20 bid there, only to see it go all the way to the upside. But the thing about trading is you just want to put up a green number. So today, Tesla is going to be one of my top stocks. Really super happy about it. Right now, I'm on pins and needles. We are now, Randy, we are $2. I mean, why are people trading? We're in the money now, $2 here. We just got stopped out when we broke. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get to the downside right now. See if this market can break. I'm looking for NVIDIA to come back into 848. But yeah, here we go. Nice little short happening on this trade. We are $1 and change in the money on Google. We have lots to talk about. But yeah, Tesla into India. I think it's a good thing. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Everything is going to take some time.
Time is on everybody.
158. This could be a short here, actually, on Tesla. Now that you're right back to where we started the day. Oh man, we might have missed an opportunity to short this. We're still short. We just shorted. We'll talk about Bitcoin in a minute as well. Oh, we should put. No, I just got one. But all right, thanks, man. We just got in and out of IBIT. Well, not in and out. We were shorting VWAP here, and IBIT broke up, which is a good thing we got out. Now IBIT going for the dance here as well. Lots to talk about today. Let's go back over to the desk.
I was just getting the beige book in my ear there, so I've gone through some of these comments. I mean, I don't see anything. The beige book is an economic outlook that comes out once a month. I don't see anything that we haven't heard before. Overall, U.S. economy expanded slightly since February, according to the Fed's beige book. Again, that just came out at 2 o'clock. There was absolutely no response there from the overall market when that came out, so just be aware, though, there are still a few things trickling in here from the overall beige book. Let's talk about semiconductors here. We did have, I mean, it was ASML with earnings, but SMH, if you go out to any of these ETFs, even SOX, same thing, opens up this morning and just straight downside since the open today.
Yeah, and ARM too, Brendo. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see that 10% to the negative there. We tried to trade ARM on the day today at that $110 level, but it was a big down day. Nothing really specific with ARM. According to Benzinga, it's just in sympathy with ASML. ASML, though, net sales fell 21.25%. Revenue dropped 21.25%. Profit dropped 37.4%. It seems to be a cycle here with PC sales and cell phone sales topping out.
Coming off what we had yesterday with very hawkish comments from the Fed across the board, I mean, this is really vanilla as far as what the Fed was saying in the economic outlook. Among contacts was cautiously optimistic on balance. Price increases were modest, on average running at about the same pace as the last report. So again, that Fed's beige book just came out there in front of 2 p.m., guys.
So just, I know we're going to talk about the semis, and we'll get to it, but there was more comments about, this is not necessarily new, but there's more comments with U.S. Steel about the Biden administration wanting to keep it in U.S. hands, which obviously puts the Nippon buyouts, in jeopardy. But this isn't new. It was already down on this, and then I guess it got reiterated, and you're seeing it drop a buck. At this point, if it goes back into the 40 level, I mean, I'd take a shot up there. I don't want to short any bottoms on this, but this is not, I thought we heard this in the morning, but that's the reason for U.S. Steel falling like an absolute rock. I feel like and there's a little more in my ear there. I feel like some of the reason why, maybe not the entire reason why the chips are to the downside today, despite gapping up, was ASML having a miss on revenue and declining year over year, a utilization of their lithography machines. They're a big bellwether, and one of the reasons ARM was so bad is you have to use ASML if you want to make advanced chips. If you want to make chips that are power efficient, you are using ARM. So ARM is in every cell phone. These guys, ASML's in every laptop. They're not in it, but if you're making the chips for a laptop, or you're using these guys. So both those names got punished today. There was a bit of a bounce at the open. I'm just going to go to the names that we have traded. AMD was a flush. It was a VWAP trade for me, and then when we didn't get VWAP, everything, all you-know-what broke loose. And sometimes that can be a sign. Like, when it stops riding VWAP and then puts in a lower high, it can't even retrace and grind back in. That was actually when things accelerated. I'm in Intel as a VWAP retracement trade, and I had NVIDIA one time off the 850. I got up, 850 broke. I came back down. Sean's like, 850 broke. And I was like, well, I'll take it the second time and scalp it, but I wasn't here for when it happened. I didn't see what it looked like. I couldn't get a feel for it. So I just kind of scalped it on the second time it broke to the low of the day. Now I would love to see a VWAP retracement on a couple of other ones.
Yeah, it was a good break.
ASML also had a crazy reversal at $900, even if you were paying attention to it. But once Europe closes, I think you had to be very careful. It's just a different story on that stock.
I was trying to, I bet. Okay, so yeah, so first of all, we were long NVIDIA first. made money that way, and it was a pretty good stock for us, and then it eventually lost 880. We talked about that. Then for some reason, it came right into our sticky note level of 860. I say some reason, like that's right where it stopped. And look what we did. We bought this dip. That's an $8 winner. You guys saw me do that live on the show. That was a hell of a lot of fun. That was at 10:30. Then we left it alone, man, until this happened. And I'm going to talk about AMD. So the number 1 stock today is going to be NVIDIA. Number 2 is going to be AMD. Here goes NVIDIA now. We're short again. But anyways, here's the break that happened at 850. So that's my first trade. 850 break. First out, 849, $1. Second out, 848. That's 2. And then we ripped up and we reshorted 852. That didn't work. Okay, so we got out of that trade. Hold on a second. The market's moving around here. We're now $2 back into the money on NVIDIA. All right, then we shorted again. Long story short, it went up to the 200 period. We're now bouncing. I thought I had a bid down here. Oh, that's 851. Okay, I put a bid at, my bad. I put a bid at 850. I thought this was 850, but it's actually 851. So normally we're looking to get a piece out at this level. So let's think about doing that right now as NVIDIA is now 250 in the money. I really like that one. But you heard Adara say, and then Sharif congratulated her, which was fantastic, about being happy and really pleased with her trades. Look what we did here on AMD. We shorted that break at 162.50. Boom. That was a monster. Then we tried the long. That also worked. That was great. Then once we tried the long again here at 160 and that broke, look at all these purples, man. We started bang all the way to the downside. This was a monster trade. Short 160. There's our last out. 156. That was 350 right there in the money. And here we go. We are starting again. We told you what the number 1 stock is, and we ain't playing. It's NVIDIA. It's starting to go to the downside. We got to put a bid, though. We just went to 851.20. That's where my bid is supposed to be. I'm at 850.20. So I just didn't look at that properly. I don't know if I would have got filled anyways. But here we go. 851.20. Let's put a bid, see if we get hit right now on NVIDIA. But fun times here for some of these names as the market is thinking about what it wants to do.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Let's talk about Microsoft and Apple here. There's a note on Indonesia trying to get them both to come and build stuff in that area of the world. But I was just noticing this as well, popped up during lunchtime. The EU formally going to avoid looking into their $13 billion investment into OpenAI. Which was lingering in the background for quite some time now. That was really the only regulator that was poking at that, but I guess they're formally not going to do that. But yeah, both Microsoft and Apple, kind of a lackluster day. Apple specifically, not a huge range here.
No, not at all, Brendo. I mean, it was at the lows there, and the 168s has been fighting with 169s. Specifically, as Brendo mentioned, it's the friendshoring aspect of things that's got investors interested as they look to move away from their manufacturing in China. He said, Tim Cook said today, with respect to the meeting he had with the Indonesian president, we talked about the president's desire to see the manufacturing in the country, and it's something that we will look at. He said, I think the investment ability in Indonesia is endless, Tim Cook said.
Just noticing DJT back to the highs here on a volume spike. Pulling back a little bit now, but what a day for DJT as well.
I'll touch on that. I'll start with Apple and then I'll get to DJT because, I mean, if you're looking for things that are at the high of the day and breaking out, they are few and far between. You've got UAL, check that. AAL, I think, will course tonight, and then or tomorrow morning. And then you've got DJT and maybe a couple of other small caps. But Apple, I'd say it's a bit of a disappointment because it was looking like you'd made a bottom yesterday at 168. It's not a big catalyst. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's a fantastic catalyst for trading, but it then ended up holding at the open a higher low and then a series of higher lows. So on the 15-minute, it was showing a nice upward trend, which I like joining trends like that where you can. Maybe there was a chance to do it here at 69.5, but I waited till it was at VWAP. It gave up VWAP, and I gave up trying to go long the stock. It probably in an ideal spot because, as you can see, Apple then fell $2. But you got to be able to look the other direction. This wick is not real, or I'd be short at VWAP.
Apple?
Yeah, it's like Apple's going to end up reversing again into the 168 bottom. And I just feel like if we're going to trend down, Apple just cannot seem to hold on to gains recently. You just bounced off of great support on the daily chart, popped right back into the exact same high that it did in late March, which is $179. That's also, it failed the 50 period, and then it just rejected, and then you're right back at that low. So the next step, unfortunately, if you keep doing this, would be to break this support level on Apple, and then Apple loses 165, and I mean, I heard someone say the other day they like 162, but really, like I look at this daily chart, and when I see 165 breaking, I don't actually find anything significant on Apple until you get down to like 150. Obviously, 155 looks decent. So you're starting to get into some scary territory. And then quickly on DJT, it's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. Obviously, if I liked the long or had any reason to go long, when I got out of the short was like the perfect entry. That's just how it works sometimes. But I was short off 24. We got 23 and a half. Seconds later, I was deciding not to reload it, and then it came out and stopped out for like a 25-cent hit. Since then, all it's done is ho-hum, go another $4 up. There's a chance that some of this late rally on that last little volume spike had to do with that TikTok news, and then there was an extra push on DJT because of that.
TikTok news?
Yeah, there was.
Here we go.
The bill is speeding through Congress or something like that, and DJT had a massive volume spike and went $2. I think it was just that. Meta, Snapchat also went as well.
There it is, $3. We just get filled there on NVIDIA. We are short at 854.50. We just take that 851 as described right there. All right, here we come. So now I wish we would have waited for 850, but we still got a piece on, and this name is starting to move lower, and we're starting to stack it up right now. So good day so far. I do have a stop on Google. I know Google's coming next, so why don't we... Okay, so I'm long Google. I'll talk about the story in a minute, but I just want to tell you I'm getting out if we break this 50 period, this 50 level, which is the 200 period, and that could happen very soon. I sound like a Dara. I'm talking so fast. Over to the desk. See, they're not even ready.
Poor
Ram's panicking.
She just gets a coffee. She's like just back, trying to chill. All right. The rundown this afternoon brought to you by our friends at Pandimensional. Pandimensional research and strategizing in the stock market doesn't have to be difficult. With your personalized AI investing co-pilot from Pandimensional, you can easily discover stocks and effortlessly test and execute your strategy ideas. Get quick and digestible stock market insights with Pandimensional's AI chatbot and backtest and forward test strategies with Pandimensional's AI simulator, all in a beginner-friendly platform. Try it now for free. Go check out the link on screen right now, guys. Scan that QR code. Let's talk about Google. I mean, nothing in the way of excitement as far as price action today as well, but positive note here for analysts from Google today.
Well, it's up almost up 1%. It's below now, 0.88. But here was the look. A couple of analyst upgrades. Truist Securities maintaining its buy rating, bumping up the price from 158 to 170, saying that they expect Q1 results to come in slightly ahead of consensus with respect to cost containment. They like the year-over-year margins as well, so boosting that price target, Brenda.
Looking pretty good on the upward trend here, guys, for the daily chart anyways on Alphabet.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I can take this. We had Google right here listed on our sticky note as trade number 3 today, getting that long at 155.50. I mean, that's what we wrote down, so that's what we're going to do. So we have that long right here on Google. We can sort of expand this out. We hit it early, and we didn't hit it that often. That was the first trade there at 155.80. It breaks a little bit higher, and then we start to rock a little bit. So after that level hit, we got out. We got out actually at the high of the day there in and around 157. So that's a pretty good trade to get out there. That's about $1 and change. Then it came back, and we wound up getting out at that level of 156.50 or so break. So that's about $1 all in all. The high move up there is a 157 high break. Then it came back down to 154.80. This is where, you know, sitting there catching falling knives and all that kind of stuff is pretty tough. We waited for it to try to give us a base right there, and then we went long using this 154.50 as our out. So that's where we take the first piece out there, the first piece out there. Now we still have a third, and we're rocking right now on Google. Google, just an amazing stock. We wanted to go long. It's on the sticky note. So despite the day being pretty red out there, Google still remains up. And I'd hate to say it, But you know, we were looking at that name. It's just another one of those. I got stopped again by one of the traders behind and said, holy crap, how come every single day this is what's happening? And I just said, put in the work, find the trades you like, stay in them, be confident with them, trust them, speak, you know, confidently, and be confident with your executions. You know, trust the system, trust the process, and that's my advice to you, and good luck. Yeah, so that's really worked out again today. Google, we'll put that one on the board for, you know, another decent trade.
So the thing about, like I didn't trade Google, and Amazon, like I only liked Amazon if it could break out at the top. So it didn't break the top, great. You don't take the trade. I should have used this as the example for a wipeout bottom, by the way, for volume. I just didn't realize how big of a wipeout volume bottom was, and it was after I'd done the lesson of the day. This is actually almost better than what I was looking at for when you get big volume bottoms. That said, all that said, I'm a big Apple fritter guy. Ram just talked about Tim Hortons, and what does that have to do with trading? You know what? It tastes the best when it's fresh, right? And so that's the same thing as when you have a trade, getting it at the right time. Like you can like something to the long side, but just because I liked an Amazon long, if it couldn't break through resistance or set me up with some kind of long, you don't take it. Google was good at the open for the breakout trade, but then after that, it's like, well, okay, you have to wait till they put some fresh whatever's into the oven, and then you take the trade a little bit later on. You don't know exactly when that's going to happen. All you can do is wait for it. We're not gonna. We'll talk about UAL after, but then I want to make sure we talk about the Bitcoin at 60 because. I actually learned something today, or at least kind of found something on BTC which might be useful. But let's go to the desk and mention UAL a bit.
Back to the downside right now. I mean, we're at day highs essentially right now for UAL. What a day it's been. Really never even dipped, never even tested the pre-market low, just straight out of the box, right out of the gate this morning. To the upside, we went coming off a better than expected report.
Yeah, they took a $200 million hit here, Brendo, because of the Boeing cancellations, but that was already priced in. Look, you know, the 25% reduction that they had to take on the Boeing aircraft hurt a little bit, but overall, analysts say the results and the guide could bring at least some relief to what would be characterized as an oversold situation here for United Airlines. So Citi analyst Stephen Trent reiterating the buy rating and going for it.
Right at, we're almost there anyways, that last daily high, I guess closer to 49 for UAL, but huge, huge day here, guys.
So, okay, so I'm gonna look, like UAL's pulled back like 30 cents. It is at a level on the daily, so I suppose, like if you were looking for a top, I mean, if you were looking for a top at any point today, good luck with that. You're probably having a rough day of it. Hey, everyone's been there before at some point. I'm glad I'm not trying to short this stock. But I guess you'd be looking at the daily and saying you're getting to that spot. Fair enough. But I didn't trade it, and here's what I'll do. There was some discussion. There's some guys in the back that actually traded this at the open, which I wasn't paying attention. And one of the things that was observed is the manner in which it broke out. And as you can see here, the first candle at 9:30 is a massive volume red candle. And that's because it was sitting here at 44.5. It broke 45 at the open, and then you see this hammer wick, essentially fail breaking 45, which is a pretty good looking short setup to fill in the gap to the downside, then immediately held the support where it had been in the pre-market at 44 even, holds on to 44 on the way back and bounces. So anybody shorting this thing on the fail break of 45 had to watch it hold 44 and then take out that 45 high. And once it did, it then held 45 on the bid. The shorts had been trapped. If they didn't get out when it broke there, then they were getting out wherever the heck they could for the rest of the day. So if you ever find yourself in a situation like this where it's clearly set up a popular reversal trade like that fail break at 45 even, and then suddenly those shares are trapped and it's trending to the upside, understand they got to unwind. And being on the other side of a popular trade, when it starts going against, that theoretical other side can be good. But I want to make a comment about Bitcoin here, and I'm going to use it because I was trading IBIT. So instead of using Bitcoin, I'll talk about 60,000 in the context of IBIT because it ran 60,000 3 times. I was long 3 times. 2 of them worked, and 1 of them was an abject failure, and the only difference between them was something I kind of saw when I was looking at my level 2. So anyways, Bitcoin, this is the first test of 60,000. It ran the stops, came back up, but it was a muted move. The second one, it ran, and then on the way back up, I punched here, and it wasn't random when I punched in, and then it made almost a VWAP. Second time, it ran 60,000. I grabbed the long. I did have a bad trigger. You should never move your stops unless you have a good reason to. I did at break even, and then you'll see it go higher. But all I did the second and third times I took it is instead of just standing in front of 60,000, I watched 60,000 break. Then I pulled up the BTC level 2, and I was sort of watching the spread here. Here, I'm going to make sure. I want to make sure you can sort of see this properly. High bar cross, take that off. Right, so then you see this book. You have all the different books which can lock markets. You can have a bid on Kraken, an offer on Binance that's underneath that bid. All that kind of nonsense can happen. And when I waited until it broke down 60,000, and then once all of the books that we have available, they were all simultaneously back above the bid at 60,000. So if Kraken and Binance were bidding above 60,000, that wasn't enough. I wanted every single one of the books that we display, which is 6 of them, once they were all in unison and bidding 60,000, I was just like, okay, I'm just trying this out. I'm just going to punch long Bitcoin when all the books are bidding above 60,000, figure that's the point, it's a failed break, and enter the trade. And so that was the moment I just kind of punched long and was like, oh, punch long, give it to the low. And I did it here, punch long, give it to the low. So I don't know if, and again, I was just trying this out. Just to give you an idea of the fact that I was trying this out, like I was doing this as a real trade, I was doing this as a test. So even though I won nicely twice and lost once, I'm flat on the stop because these were like tests, blindly doing it because I'm testing a strategy out. And so the next time I see a major level break on Bitcoin, I'm going to try it a third time, maybe for a little bit more. But I'm not going to consider it a failed break reversal until every single one of the independent books is back through the key price. So I hope that makes kind of sense because we talk about like a failed break there of, it was UAL at 45. Well, I mean, once it's printing above 45, it's just back above 45. Or it's back underneath 45, like that's it. Like it's a market where there's no crossing of the bids and asks of the different gateways. In Bitcoin, you can. They're all independent. So you wanted that confluence of all of the bids being back above 60,000. Oh, that's not my word, dude. Randy, I don't use school words like that. Like that's Obi, that's Adara, that's Sharif. I just like saying it now because it makes me seem smarter than I really am. I'm just keeping it real. Didn't you already have a coffee?
Yeah.
It's
all good. It's all good.
Because you got it from the fancy place.
Yeah, I got it from the fancy place. I was just out for a walk, and this is not even, what is he doing? This is not even hot. Okay, we just shorted Coinbase there. I know we're talking about UAL. It was a great trade. I mean, a huge move up 16%. We highlighted one thing for you. That was the JETS ETF. We talked about that when it was at 0 to start the day, and it was, I mean, let's see where it opened. Yeah, so rated way immediately. I mean, we talked about buying this thing. I was like, this hasn't even gone up yet. It should have some delta or some UAL love in there. It does straight up to the upside there, right off the open. So there it goes again. They're all about 10%. So you can look it up, JETS ETF.
Okay.
No,
I'm not looking it up now. You just
I think, I mean,
I'm not looking it up.
There's 4 of them that
tonight.
are.
You said 10. I'm not.
Yeah. No, that is what it is. All right, so Google. Okay, just a brand new position here. We did put on Coinbase. It's right here at the 50 period moving average on a 20-minute chart, and it's come back in. That's nice. I like that level, but we're also just in right here to a recent top of 215.50. So with some extreme volatility, and Neil just went over some Bitcoin stuff there, extreme volatility in Bitcoin. We broke below 60, now up to 62. Okay, here goes Coinbase. So I was only going to give this, I guess we got to give this a little bit more room than what I was going to do. I didn't expect it to come up to 216 right away.
50.
All right, let me just honor that 216. We'll get out if something happens there. But that was initially my level. But look at the spread, it's 50 cents. So as we come back in now, let's put some bids somewhere in case we get picked up because, hey man, we'll take a bid if we can get it. So we'll put a bid down there at 214 and change, see if that will fill us. Spread pretty dangerous here on Coinbase, and we almost got taken out. That really shot up there pretty quick. We started this short at 215, we just got another one at 215.50. My stop is 216. So that would be 80 cents. So if we can capture a little bit of profit on this first move down in and around that 80 cents, then we'll take that and then we'll work on it from there. But right now we are short. It's 50 cents in the money, but you got to get the bid for that. So let's see if it pushes. We're short here, Coinbase. Looks like it wants to work. So far, so good. Dollar in the money on Google here. That's holding out. We're going to wait for the 50 period or the 200 period, which is sloping down, which I don't like. And then NVIDIA is $3 in the money. But we already took out 2/3, sorry, more than that. About like 75% of our position on this move to 851. So that's what we're doing. We're chilling right now, waiting for Coinbase to do something and hopefully not take out the bid. And yeah, NASDAQ, it's only 230, man. Lots of stuff still to come.
Speaking of chilling, I guess we're done the rundown. Oh, I did get you. Wait a minute. Okay, the position board might be wrong here. Fabian position board's wrong. I got that United States. I didn't want to interrupt or anything, but like I got into position on U.S. Steel. It bounced off of VWAP. I said if it came back into that 40 VWAP in here after the Biden administration, or I should say the administration, once again reiterated that they want essentially U.S. Steel to stay in U.S. hands. Like, what am I even splitting hairs? That's pretty much what they said. So it flushed, even though that's not new news, it still flushed on it anyways. It came into VWAP. I shorted 90s. Well, when it got back underneath 90, I went the first available short, which actually ended up being 78. I took some out in front of 50. It's now barcoding lower high. I'm going to bid in front of the quarter mark, and then look to see if it can take it back down to the lows. So it's a Nippon Steel, which is obviously, you know, foreign buyer, and it's down 2%. But it's been under pressure before, and it's had support in this range right around 38. So I would suspect that it should catch a bid somewhere. I mean, it's not like U.S. Steel obviously is a good company, and there will be other suitors, but I'm just taking this short, giving it back into VWAP. Oh, Tesla just gave up the 157.
I just want to show people, I'm bidding 214.65. There was fills at 214.65, but not me. Look at this, 214.65, Edge X right there at 214. I'm bidding. Like I saw it come down, I thought I was going to get filled. There it is right there, 214.65. I'm bidding at 24. Okay, now it just broke through. But I just wanted to show you that that's the winning trade, but that's not what I wanted to show you. I was just hoping to show you that sometimes the gateway, and this is 99 problems, you guys don't have them, we do, because we got to pick where our destination is, and some of you will, especially those of you that are with real trading, will also wonder like what gateways to use, what are gateways? But talk to your floor manager or trainer for those kind of questions. But at the end of the day, that's stuff that I used to look at. I used to like really read tape. Like Neil's mentioned that when rebate trading was good and when that kind of stuff was happening. I used to do that, just spread trade and make the market. And that's where like reading of the tape, you hear Obi talk about that all the time as well, how important that is. I don't think it's that important for a stock like Coinbase or any of these major cap names, but sometimes you'll see Neil in some positions, he'll talk about them, and sometimes like...
Oh, you know what I wanted to say?
I was trying to think of a name that we may trade, like a Neo, something that has, and I'll just show it to you just real quick here. As the market's coming down, we're now $4, by the way, with NVIDIA. But like Neo, you may want to know that if you're trying to go bid-ask here, which gateways are printing. So there's K is Edge X, N is New York, D are dark pools, so you have no idea. And here comes NVIDIA right now. We are starting to go lower here on NVIDIA. So let's bring the damn pain. Hey, since you guys have been here, look at this. NVIDIA, and then do we have this as well? Yes, we do. It is $1.20 now here on Coinbase and trying to go lower. So far so good here, but that was just a little brief talk. There you go.
No, so very quickly, I was actually going to point this one out because, so anyways, here's a statistic. I had this conversation with Brankles, and I was saying, like, I trade on the side, like buyouts and stuff, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little, but in 19 and a half years, I have not gone a single month where I haven't at least taken fills every single month or traded at least a little bit. And oddly enough, this will be the first time where back-to-back months I'll probably be red on buyouts. A lot of it has to do with this move, and then this wasn't as bad as the fat finger, which, not a fat finger, but the it was like a nice, like a black swan event. And it's hard to describe because imagine I was in a position where the only reason I lost was me being flattened. Like the stock didn't actually trade against me, but me being flattened caused the entire move. And it sucks because the actual trading was in the money, but you know, the spread opened up, The system read that I was out an X amount of dollars. The system flattened me, even though it didn't trade anywhere near that price until the flattened key went. So that happened. But then this move happened, and I made an adjustment. So TCN, solid deal, spiked down, recovered. It did a similar thing yesterday. And so I came in today sort of thinking, well, if this is what's been burning the last couple of weeks, I'm going to take a shot and wait to see if something stupid happens on one of these stocks. And lo and behold, the stock being bought for $63 in cash, when I sat down this morning, it's literally closing on Friday for $63 in cash, and somebody decided that they wanted to be buying above the price. I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, whatever. Instead of actually sitting there and just bidding and offering, hoping for a 5-cent range, I was like, I'll take a shot, just sort of shorting it off those highs. And because I was looking for it, but I was only looking for it because it had lost for me the other day in the other direction. And then I was looking for these spike moves, and maybe they happen, maybe they don't. U.S. Steel is not that type of situation because U.S. Steel is not a firm deal that is, like 99.9% going to happen. Remember ATVI? That would trade well underneath the deal price because it's not for sure that you're going to get that move. And as U.S. Steel comes back up, if it gets into VWAP again, I'll go for the reload. Just have to wait for it to happen. We're just in that. Pelotons from the morning, you guys probably saw it. I'm bidding in front of $3. Intel VWAP retracement, it's rolling back into the downside as the market is slowly seeming like it wants to get back into some of the lows, although it's not the same acceleration to the downside as before. But anytime you reject underneath previous support, the trend is unbroken down, so that's an unbroken trend down. I think you still look for the short to pop situations. Probably not going to get Apple at VWAP. I'm going to make the assumption there. I'm going to cancel Apple because I guess if it goes to VWAP now, I probably have to make a decision on that because you've made a lower high and the key level looks like 169.
I mean, I don't know what else to do here. We are now $6 in the money on NVIDIA. What? I mean, we just do real trading. $6 in the money now on NVIDIA. $2 now in the money on Coinbase. 80 cents in the money now on Google. I appreciate the talk there about wanting to know more and wanting to hear me teach about all that stuff. Potentially, we'll do that at some point. All right, Google, Coin, Amazon, AMD. All right, you want to just talk about maybe finding some outs? So Google's pulled back in. We already know we're going to be out of this in a second here. This is flipping us out right now. I mean, sure, we called the short on this market. Google's going to be an awesome stat today. Well printed, well taken. And we're going to get out of this pretty soon at 155.50. We just put on Coinbase, man. And thank you to John in the chat. It means a lot that you're recognizing. But there it comes down into that downside as well here for Coinbase. So hopefully that works out. NVIDIA still $6 and trying to go lower. I mean, we said we want to talk about some outs here. I'm not, like we've already talked about this. We're here to make money. We're doing it. Okay, what should we do? 848. So we've bounced off this 848 level a couple times. You guys just want to do that? All right. I'm just going to do it. 847. Look, I'm going to be happy. We're stacking this up, man. By the way, no market recap show. We're filming the podcast today. Sorry about that, but I only have so much stuff to do. All right, $5. We'll wait. We'll go to 847.50 coming through. I'm sorry, Fibonacci Princess, about that. That is my fault. That we do not have a market recap show. Tammy was really excited to come through, so I owe her one. We'll see about getting her back next week. So shout out to Tammy, and thank you for your understanding. That's my bad. All right, Google, NVIDIA right now, Coinbase. They're all rocking. For Coinbase, why don't just get out if it breaks this back up to the upside, 214.50, okay? Because, what we're trying to do now is just capture every single move. If it's there, we obviously are doing that, and it's been working out. So let's just stick with the guns, stick with what we're doing now, and try to just keep on, following the rules and making the trades. Do you see what just happened there? Google came all the way in and did not break that 50 level. So I said there was one thing that we needed to work on. And that was, instead of maybe this being my out, that could have been a reload area. All right, so that's the one thing that I, for sure, need to do better on. There goes Coinbase. So all in all, Coinbase comes out there. We'll take just $1.27, $1.17 on the last piece. So yeah, it's not as good as it should have been. It does go down into that bottom right there. But honestly, I mean, like I said, we've made trades that have done better than that. So we'll wait to see if that goes. Even if NVIDIA, we only have 25% of this trade left. It just did wick to the bottom there, close to where we were. That's 848. I'm at 847.60. So if we fall into 847.60, we'll take that fill. That got to 848.28. So we were about 70 cents, let's just say, obviously with the spread involved there, away from getting that fill. So I don't know, it's coming back upside. Kind of want to leave it alone. The only thing I might do now is relook at what is my PL2 is AMD short. That was that $4.
Well, first off, Bitcoin, I looked over and Sean has 61.6 on his thing.
Yeah.
It's the Bitcoin spot. And at the same time, IBIT's holding 35 even. Like it's a consolidation top. So it's really, there you go. Like it's consolidating right in here above VWAP. That corresponds with 61.5. So it actually looks technically like a good, really good out on Coin if Coin's going to follow it. But I wanted to make one last point about that IBIT idea. And yes, it was just a theory. But like, okay, well, why wouldn't you like paper trade a theory, right? Like don't actually put a trade on. Just observe what happens, and then if you see it work, then put on. The reason why you have to execute for this is because otherwise, when I'm looking at the chart of IBIT, like how do I know magically unless I'm observing and taking the fill at that moment when all the books are above 60,000? The piece of data that you need is, oh, what price could you have actually gotten if you were to actually punch in? Maybe that's a big momentum spot where liquidity dries up and you don't get a good entry point. So you have to be able to judge when the thing happens, what fill could I get? There was a strategy we used to do in Europe that required you to actually take the fills in the moment to be able to judge it. You couldn't just paper trade, look at what I could get. It's like, well, in these 5 minutes, what fills are you really able to achieve when you're trying to get into position in that general sense? Anyways, back into US Steel. The NASDAQ is looking strong. I wanted to go over to, where's Apple? I was just saying it's not going to get to VWAP. It's right in here. 169 has come pushing in pretty closely here. So we might get a chance to short this one off of 69 if it curls, or maybe we do get a shot at VWAP. That's always a possibility. I don't mind that. We like that old VWAP retrace. Intel, do I want to reload Intel at VWAP? Yeah, now we're starting to really ramp. So we got another out there, 35.60 on Intel. It's trying to get right back up to that double top at VWAP. That's 81s. I would look for, I don't even know if I want to refill with the NASDAQ now breaking out. Maybe it should just be a look for long situation. I thought Rivian would have broken the top. Wow. Okay, it's like it's at the top, it just hasn't broken. That might come in. It might break this 9 any second now.
Okay, so this is, it's kind of a funny story because I'm not making money or losing money right now because I have one long and one short. Like Google has lost its damn mind right now. So like it is just off to the races. That would have been crazy embarrassing to have gotten stopped out there, which I was a couple pennies away. And that's what I mean. That can easily happen at any time. And it almost did right there, and we should have reloaded it. So Google is off to the races now. It is $1.50 in the money. But since that's been happening, we got out of Coinbase, which was a blessing there because it just kept on going back up to the upside. So we are out of that one.
Sticky.
But what's also happened here is, yes, is NVIDIA has come back up. So here comes NVIDIA. We get that reload up top there. Let me put something in for about $1. We just took 855s right there. It's starting to break. I think we have stickies now because I thought I was in the money there. And I don't know. So this spread right here is 80 cents. We do have a stuck order right there.
It just improved when I refreshed.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's improving. Yeah, good call. So 855 right there. Looks like we're on there. I got to get rid of this. Let's bid a little bit lower. My stop on this one, guys, 856. So we'll see if we could take $1, lose $1. Let me just refresh as Neil mentioned there, and then see what winds up happening with NVIDIA. So yeah, a little risky here. The market is really rallying. We've done well by holding on to Google, but NVIDIA is not working out. We had that bottom take. We got greedy there when it was done at 848, but we reloaded it. So let's see if we can take $1 now or lose $1 back to the upside. This will still be, here it comes, this will still be my #1 stock. This is not a monster position by any stretch of the imagination. And there it is. So there's the fill out. Obviously, we get a grade out there. That's an L for $1. So we'll slap a fail on that one. Thought there was a chance for it to continue to head to the downside there. We missed that, but again, not everyone's going to be able to trade the way we do, so that's why I do find it very important that I tell everybody that we are out of 75% there, and we said that, so this is kind of like dirt off our shoulder, but it's still a nice move back there to the upside, and by the way, right now, awesome. This is working out for us, and it is Google. Google right now is really, really on one, starting to go back up to the upside. Looks like we'll be able to hopefully ring the register up top at day's high near 157 on Google.
Yeah, and for me, I just got U.S. Steel, which might follow the market, might not. See, it's still not showing U.S. Steel positions. Is it just U.S. Steel that it's not showing? Okay, whatever.
I'm only in Google, and that is
Yeah, well, I mean,
right.
It's correct in that I'm not in Intel anymore. I'll double check. There must be something going on with that stock. But Intel broke that top. I just got a reload in U.S. Steel. Rivian also broke the highs.
You know why? I think, wasn't it rebate trading before?
No, I don't know if it ever was. It might have been. I'll double check that. So Rivian just took out the $9 level, but it's right back. Did it even go? I mean, there's a print at 01s, and I got 01, so it was over. But just as I was going over Intel and U.S. Steel, it kind of ticked above and came back underneath.
Wow.
You had the double top was technically at 97, so if it cannot get or hold above there, I will simply get out of it. But it is a strong move to the upside now. Maybe we are going to get VWAP on Apple. It's getting close. I mean, we're actually still 30 cents away, but I think we're getting pretty darn close to this VWAP retracement over in Apple. Nothing specific has happened, but technically speaking, remember that overnight resistance level that we hadn't been able to get past? Well, we're there now. So put up or shut up time for the overall market, I would tend to think. Tesla took out 178. 158, I should say, not 178. If it took out 178, then we all have some celebrating to do for anyone that's a shareholder. But it took out the 158 level. It is strong, strong. I don't wonder if it's not stairs to the upside, meaning next available dip or consolidation, look for an entry in a Tesla. I don't want to chase anything that doesn't have room to run. And if we thought the big level was 160 on Tesla, or if we still think that, I kind of still think that, it's got overnight highs, it's got 160, and it's got a couple of bucks until it gets there. So if it's going to continue to run, I think we have a bit of a chance there. Microsoft at VWAP. Yeah, I mean, Apple was the one
We're short the market.
I like Apple better than Microsoft for the retracement short. I know it's at VWAP, but just because the stock's at VWAP doesn't mean I want it. I'd rather Apple.
All right, quick little out here. We are short the market. I hope you guys heard me say that. Let's see what happens here with the TQs. Maybe we get to the downside here, or maybe we do not. But for right now, the answer is hell to the yes. Oh my, there it is, a nice move to the downside right there. As we talked about this market getting to 17.8, and guess what just happened? The market got to 17.8. So we will short that bad boy right there. Nice little trade for us, instantly putting TQQ on the map right there. Triple levered, man. We're just going to play. If you're going to play, you might as well play hard. Let's take the TQQs there and go triple. So there it is. It's a nice push down on that market. We waited, man. You want to talk about a thief in the night? I mean, come on. The very first trade we made, boom, right there. Nicely done. Right back in to VWAP again. So, oh, wow. Okay. That just went into the 70s there. Let's put another bid at 73. That bid right there be 57, 58. That would be pretty sweet if we could get that. It's having the ability, I guess, to go back and forth, switch up your game plan and just really be able to make that adjustment kind of on the fly, right? I mean, instead of being stubborn about Coinbase, we get out, look what happens. It goes right back to our level that we could have shorted again, but we took the profits and then gives us that opportunity to reshort it, which we do not. But it does give us that opportunity. All right, man, we're having a nice day. Move down in for these TQQs. It's right at VWAP, considering getting more out here. We are out of half already. So we will probably just fire bullets at it now, but there it was right there into the day's high. We shorted it once, twice, pulls back into VWAP. We get about 40% out at VWAP. There's the 75 fill for that. Now we have 40% left with only bids, no more bids. We'll put one down into here around 50 or so, but that's it. We did it again. There we go. Nice trade, I think, on TQs. So now we'll see where we go. We said we put a bid in the 50s, so let's do that and try to take some more profit right there. I hope you guys. Sean is a psychic. Sean is bringing the heat. Good call, good call, good call. I don't know, Neil, but we've had some pretty good calls around here.
Yeah, definitely some good calls. I mean, obviously, when the market gets to that level, you got to decide where you want to express it. Now, I said I was looking for a shorted VWAP on Apple, and it was pointed out to me Microsoft. Now, Microsoft would have worked. You know, you look back, and like hindsight's going to be 2020. VWAP retracement trade, Microsoft works in here. But you know what? Apple was the one. I haven't traded Microsoft in at least a week and a half. Apple, I probably traded and looked at all day, every day for the last week and a half. And the last couple times we shorted the VWAP, it worked, right? So obviously, you stay where your bread is buttered. And if I'd been trading Microsoft well this week, I probably put that trade on. Instead, I'm like, no, let's try to get Apple in here. Apple didn't quite make the press, so I just didn't get the fill. And that's, it's going to happen sometime. But you have to be on the stock or, the price area, or you can be trading ETF market. It doesn't really matter what you're trading. It's just whatever it is, it's got to be consistent. So I don't want to be jumping from, today I'm liking Apple and Amazon, then tomorrow it's like Microsoft. If Apple is the one that you've had the better reads on, especially with these afternoon VWAP retracement style trades where you're going against the move, I think you got to stick to it, whatever it might be. Kyle W. is a $1 win in a $30 stock, the same as a $1 win in a $175 stock. Here, let me just read it for you. Why aren't market worked in percentages versus dollars? So the distinction between, obviously, $1 win in a $30 stock is better than a $1 win in a $175 stock. But when you're evaluating your own strategies, is it scalable is the answer to that question. So there are $1 stocks where they are not scalable to the point that taking a 10% move is as good as taking a 10% move on something else, because the other stock has more volume. So the fact that you got $10 on a a 10% move on a $10 stock is a little bit better. So the distinction to me always comes down to liquidity, right? If liquidity is relatively even, then yes, the percentage move is going to be better because you'll just make more money percent of capital that you put per dollar of capital you put in. Like the math is the math. What's up, Fabian?
Yeah, we're going to have to go over to the desk right now, but look what's happening on the TQs. I mean, if you're doing this there, that's a percent in the money. We don't deal with that. My account is quite large, so we can take 1,000 shares of the TQs, 1,000 shares of the triple Qs, 1,000 shares of NVIDIA, 10,000 shares of NVIDIA. Over to the desk. What's up, Brendo?
Get as much as 50-to-1 leverage when trading Forex at IG. Currencies like Euro and USD can require as little as 2% margin rate and offers $0 commission trading. Using a Forex account at IG for a limited time, traders can open, fund, and trade with IG for up to $10,000 in funding bonuses. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, 200 period. I mean, I don't know. Again, I appreciate that psychic comment. But yeah, we just waited for the market. And as what Neil said there, you have to know what you're doing. And I mean, we went right over there. I saw the market pop up. And to me, that was a VWAP trade. So, I mean, it was really pick your poison anywhere for that. We do look at Google. I mean, even right now, Google as well. I mean, that ticked out there into a decent level. I should have potentially got out. I mean, look where that one went to, 156.60. I mean, this has just been a real fun trade. Look what just happened in NVIDIA as well. I mean, you want to talk about having a big day. We have some trades that are like this. And that's what's just going to happen. But you know what? Thing is, we get stopped out there, and instead of crying about it, go over, put on some big boy pants, and make a trade. And that's what we did. We went right over to the market and said, hey, if we're going to start reading charts and have this ability to do that, it's pretty good to do it on something like this. TQs were down like 1% or something like that on that move. It's now down 2.85%. This is a monster move down right now. This is down about $1 here. So we're starting to go right now. It's been a really, really good day right there. Yeah, Mr. Westermeyer, that is correct math. I really like that. And yeah, who else in there? What's up to everybody else? I don't have that cash in my wallet.
No, there's a point about trading here versus.
Yeah, we have prop trading.
Prop trading, it's, most retail traders can't really think about this, but the way it works for prop trading is your daily loss limit as a risk factor is more important than the amount of buying power you have, right? Because like you're 99.9% more likely to run into your daily loss limit as a measure for you not being in a trade anymore than running out of buying power. Because leverage is different when you have a firm behind you that is flat at the end of the day. So therefore, it's easier to get buying power, relatively speaking. You're not holding overnight. There's no overnight holding costs or overnight holding gap risk. So therefore, it's more about your daily, at a prop floor, day trade, it's about your daily loss limit as opposed to like your BP. Like you can get lots of buying power and then your loss limit. No, but relative, it is performance based.
Right.
But on a day-to-day basis, you're far more concerned about your daily loss.
Oh yeah,
than
I don't even consider the amount of.
No one ever worries about their buying power in a trading flow to a certain extent.
And not when.
Except when you're starting out, right? So like again, at the end of the day, it is a little bit different, right? So different traders have different buying powers. You know,
wow, the TQs is really starting.
I'm not out here like saying, oh, I got this buy power that, because it doesn't really matter.
No, it makes no difference. That's what
at the end of the day, your daily loss limit and staying within that is what matters. Because here, the downside of that is the system will flatten you if you get to your daily loss limit, right? So that's.
So hold on, I'm not trying to flex to anybody. I'm just trying to tell people that this is what.
Well, it's different from retail, so I just want people to understand.
Oh yeah, they understand. So that's a good point. Thanks, Neil, for that one. Let's go over to Brendan.
Here anyways, but we got the note from Tesla earlier on the week, guys. Apparently, Rivian has begun a fresh round of layoffs.
That's weird. I was hearing two things out of Benzinga at the same time.
We should short Rivian.
I know. I was in Rivian with a stop. This is why you trade with stops, by the way. I was hearing, I must have had Benzinga on twice, but anyways, because I couldn't understand what he was saying. But I made sure I had a stop on it. But if they're doing cost cuts and Tesla tanked on cost cuts and Rivian is not back to 10, so it's still underneath, I do feel like if it's a failed breakout, usually I'd have an instant reverse on that, but there's no, like it just came out. I said my stop was going to be underneath 95. We got 95s, I think, on the fill exactly. Executed price, yeah, 95s. So we're able to grab that. I still think this is going to be probably a reversal short. But on that news, I wanted to calm down a little bit. Remember, Tesla dropped on cost cutting because of what it meant admitting demand problems, right? Like it was more along the lines of, hey, I know it's good to cut costs, but if you're admitting that you have demand issues, then that's a problem. So Rivian, underneath 9, underneath VWAP, first available pop. I think it looks like a short. We have free locates on this one. Pretty sure anyways. Yeah, let me just double check. Yeah, we have free locates on Rivian. Some of them we have to pay for, but this one's free. Like Nikola, we'd have to pay for locates on, but not Rivian.
No. Appreciate you, Henry Chung, Chef Joe, everybody that is there in the chat. Okay, so we are, oh man, I was still gonna get out of this if we come up, but I'm gonna put now an offer back up to the upside there on Google. I am like honestly about to throw up about this NVIDIA trade. Wow, NVIDIA is still PL1, you know, by far. It's like double, it's double my next P&L, which is AMD. And like just to have had that would have been pretty nice. But whatever, I was bidding here anyways, so I was bidding something out at in and around 852, and then we would have still had a piece. You guys know how we trade. But we are putting right now TQ. Sorry, I almost said IBIT there. It did make this move all the way to the bottom down to 54 and change. So I'm going to put another bid right there at 54.16s. See if we can get a flush. I mean, I'm just putting it there because that's where this is. I try to make trading as simple as possible. It's just working out right now. That's just what's happening. All right, so better safe than sorry with stop orders. That is correct out there.
Well, I just think
NVIDIA's making me sick. Tesla.
I don't think you can trade multiple. If you're in one symbol and only looking at one level too, I can understand not trading with any stops. But if you're even looking at more than one thing, why wouldn't you have a stop order out there? Because
No, I don't know. I think it's ridiculous not to have stop.
yeah,
order.
the opportunity, like think about it, like it's not about the times that you get stopped out and it goes in your favor. It's about what if it runs a stop and then that's the moment it accelerates. Like I'm going to use the example, like regardless of what happens in US Steel, maybe it breaks VWAP and it breaks here and I get out and I lose. But if you were trading this to the long side without a stop, then what? You know what I mean? Like, okay, fine. If you traded this with a stop, maybe you had it at 40 and the news happened and you get out of a 430 short, or long, sorry, check that because the short would have won. You get out of a 430 long risking, losing 30 cents, maybe a little bit of slippage. Or you don't have a stop and maybe the system flattens you. If you're a prop trader, it certainly probably would if it's down at 39, or you finally notice that it's happened and you panic punch out 70 cents later and there goes your account. It's much more important to not lose your account than to win every single trade, at least in my estimation. But again, I don't trade without stop orders. In rare circumstances, if I'm just staring at something and I have I'll literally sometimes have my finger on the trigger. If I see X happen, I'm crossing and punching out. And if it's the only thing I'm looking at, that's fair. But for the most part, I think that's, again, to each their own. I think stop orders are important.
Is someone actually saying that stop orders aren't important?
No, it's just, like, I know I saw it in the chat, and it's like, and there's always a discussion about it when it comes through. And if you're swing trading, maybe you have a different relationship with stops there because you want to see something happen.
Swing trading.
For some swing traders will need to see, okay, it has to close above X on a weekly or something. So you don't want to have like a hard stop order that can just trigger intraday. You're like, no, I need to see what happens at the end of the week. And if it opens underneath X price on Monday, then I would have a stop trigger. And then you set your stops over the weekend or something like that. But anyways.
Okay. Yeah, join Brett. Well, actually, we're doing the podcast today, but we will be up on the podcast on Saturday. That should be a lot of fun. And by the way, we'll go a little bit of diamond hands, but we only have that 10% left. There it is on the TQs. So here you go. For those of you that were talking about percentage points, this is right now about almost 2% on the TQs. So like if you're trading NVIDIA, 2% on a $900 stock, I mean, this is what we're talking about. That'd be like $18 flush, right? So you can't like just, no, $2 flush? No, $18 would be right. Okay, so, and as you can see here with NVIDIA, look at this flush. So there you go, man. It's $12 straight to the downside there on NVIDIA that we should have as well. But hey, you know what we just wound up doing? We put TQQ number 3 on one trade again. And it's funny because I talked to the guys in the back again, and I'm just telling more and more stories, and they're like, what's the secret? I'm like, find trades, believe in them, and take them. That's it. We have this twice there. Worked, boom. You know where my stop is on this? 55, I mean, it's in right now, 55.21. So right now it's a 5-to-1, and that would be not the first. We did get stopped out, of course, of Coinbase, and you can see where that is. Come on, man. I mean, still a nice profitable trade, but yeah, that one we did get stopped out of that. So ho hum on Coinbase. Thanks for that one. And then we'll wait to see what happens. Now, I can't believe that's at 211. So crazy. Google will probably get stopped out. I'm debating this 156 putting in order there. I'm sitting a little bit higher in case this market does rally and buy a little bit higher. I'm talking about all the way up. So we're going to see if we can get that printing at some point. Tesla is going to be a really interesting trade. That 158 was really cash there. We had hit this a couple times. And again, Tesla is going to be another top stock. Hit the long, only one trade that we wound up losing on. That's when it broke that last bid that we took right there, 154.25. Then we let it base out. And then as you can see, the rest is history. But that went all the way back into its past highs for the day. So that would have been that woulda, coulda, shoulda been a good short. So that's Tesla and something that I'm looking at again if we do get going back up into 158. Still possible, an hour left.
ARM's SSR today.
Yikes.
11%. I actually am of the theory that ASML will be down more if it didn't close in Europe because of what's happening to ARM. I think because they closed in Europe, things aren't as bad as it could be. But this is obviously... The ARM's overvalued. They're going to have to report, and then we'll see what happens with the numbers. But this could be the start of what everyone was expecting to happen a month ago after the IPO lockup expired. That's sort of the problem. And I said this for myself because this is probably the first day, or at least one of the first days since it's been consolidating here, that I didn't at least pull it up, and decide whether or not I wanted to have a stop order on a 120 break. Obviously, I didn't have it today. I would have gotten a fill. And the one day you don't do it is the day that it comes in. Remember Rivian at 10. How many times did we look at it and it didn't break, and then when it did, it was great? Well, how many times did I look at ARM and the 120 break, and then the day it happens, the day you're looking left and it goes right? So may that be a warning to everybody. The thing about consistency is it's going to sound lame, but you have to be consistent. Like if you want a flat bottom break at a key price level, you can't look for it 8 times out of 10. You've got to look for it 10 times out of 10. Because if you're just not doing it, then that one big trade is the one you're going to end up missing. And it's just not worth it, right? You don't want to miss out on A+ setups. And if you think flat bottom breaks are an A+ setup for you, then you want to make sure you're taking every single one of them. That said, market coming back down. I did reload, not quite at VWAP, but basically at the 80 level and the lower high on US steel. It's not really accelerating the same way. Oh, thank you to Darwin for pointing out why I was hearing double on Benzinga. Because they have multiple feeds, and sometimes they might be saying the same thing. I didn't realize that was the case. But anyways, shout out to you, Darwin. I love Ben. It's great to have Benzinga up, especially if you're trading something which might have moves with the news. And again, if you have us up, you don't have to worry about that, because we'll get things to you live, as demonstrated with Boeing the other day, with US Steel today, and a wealth of other news. And also when nothing is happening. If a move happens and there isn't news, we're going to be able to let you guys know that too. You saw that at 10:30 today, as a matter of fact.
I'm just looking through some information for tonight. Yeah, gold being sold at Costco. That's pretty cool. They're selling those things out like crazy at Costco. Okay, I want to look at Costco here. Let me check out what gold's doing.
I was about to point out, you said Costco, and it made me think of retail and then Lululemon.
Yeah.
One of the few things that is strong today.
Oh, good. Retail names?
Yeah, well, I think this is because Adidas.
Ooh, Nike.
Adidas reported well, so that helps Nike and Lululemon to an extent. LVMH reported well, which helps high-end retail, which is Lulu's not really high-end, but it's somewhat enough adjacent. So 2 related names. It's up on sympathy when the market's weak. Maybe this is the start of a turn, but I'm dollar cost averaging anyway, so I was probably going to be buying it in 3 months, regardless of the price that it's at, because time in the market instead of timing the market for some things.
Oh, Google just came out. So there it is. We are out of that one right now. As it just came out, all good, all good. Once we get out of this TQQ trade, once we do, right now it is $1 in the money, and once we get out of this one, then we will have pretty much no LFT, which means we will be at our highest spot we've been at all day. And again, today we'll have a couple losers, man. We have a cup of coffee there on Amazon. That's a losing trade there. iBit's a losing trade there. And my bad, that's where it ends. So what's up with Adara?
Keep an eye on RCAT. This is Red Cat up 30% in the day and seeing lots of increased volume here as we are about an hour away from close. Not seeing any particular news on this one, but it is worth noting they are defense-related names. This could be a defense-related play. Not a significantly small float, about 50 million shares, so could be defense-related and some social media interest as well for RCAT.
RCAT. Yeah, that was like a dollar breaker the other day. Wow. Okay. I'm watching the volume here. 2 cents. We were talking about this before. 2 cent spread on this stock, right? So think about that. $1 stock with a 2 cent spread. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot. When Apple is $100 and something stock with a 1 cent spread, you get the idea of why that makes it a little bit of a difference. But I'm not seeing a ton of fall through. There's something about First Solar and Biden, but that stock isn't moving either. Going back over to Lululemon, I only wanted to mention this. I didn't point out, I know it's strong today, but I didn't pull up the daily chart, which would be unfair to any discussion about Lululemon and why being up 1.6% is, yes, a good start, but obviously nothing impressive when you look at the overall trajectory of the stock. I didn't want to give the wrong impression about Lululemon being some ridiculous move to the upside when it's essentially the first 2-day rally of any significance in the last month for Lululemon. I'm just in US Steel. We're not going to see that Apple, I'm assuming VWAP retrace. We'll have to look for another entry into this. The market still looks weak. It's power hour. I don't really see anything that I like to the long side to try and catch some bids. Even Bitcoin failed that support that it was just at. So that's no longer looking strong. Tesla was kind of strong. I mean, Tesla maybe at VWAP. Like, that's above VWAP. There's not a lot of things above VWAP right now. Like, this looks pretty solid. Did Google get back to VWAP?
Yeah, I got out of Google, but I'm into Tesla right now, so I'll buy some Tesla here. We are long it. It's just at 80s.
Well,
we'll see where it goes. If we can get something up there like 157 and change, all we're trying to do, I mean, we keep saying the same thing over and over again, but we've been doing pretty good here. So here comes Tesla back in. Now, this is a starter position, so let's work through it right now. I don't have any more bids yet. I was thinking about 156. We had that playback to VWAP for Google, which unfortunately we got stopped out of, but that's okay. There's VWAP, there's the 200 period. So when you're looking at Tesla right now, we're at the 200 period now. Tesla's been strong today. It's only up, well, down 0.23, but against the market, it's been strong. We know it has the pedigree to go to the upside. So this is why Tesla, I choose you. I think there is a good opportunity for Tesla to keep going. I do like the Google trade as well to go back up to the upside. I'm a little exhausted with that. I'm going to watch out for Google. I'm going to watch out for Tesla. I do want to get some more down in and around here, 156.20, something like that if we're able to. This is just a starter position. So, I mean, if it goes up and it goes $2, $3 in the money and goes all the way up here, $1 in the money, then we'd be pretty pleased with it. But all in all, let's just take this, see where we go with it. It's Tesla. We're going to start this right now. Again, heading into power hour, the market is below VWAP. We're below everything. We're below the 50 period. All we're trying to do is catch some wind back up to the upside, and I'm going to choose Tesla to do that damage. So I'm going to put an offer right now at 157. We're not going red on this name, so let's not get too carried away here. Like 157.15, something like that. If we can get up to the 50 period moving average, that's good enough for me. So we'll see about that. We'll take another fill, maybe as close to VWAP as we can, and then use something like maybe this as our out. No, that's too low. Okay, Tesla does have a little ways to go here. All right, let's be patient with it, but I'm going to try the long on this name and see if we can get a decent spot on with that as we just get, I mean, look at this. We shorted the market 2% ago. We shorted the market. If you're trading with me, you're now in the money 125 handles.
Another one.
I mean, what? I mean, we could trade, I mean, we trade everything here. But there's another futures trade right there. So again, I didn't learn futures from anybody, didn't do anything. Just reading charts and making plays and taking names.
But you know what? I'll say this. I don't know that anybody learns trading from somebody else. And I know we sit here giving ideas and what we're looking at.
I mean, that's literally what everybody does, I feel like. Everyone says, I have a mentor.
No, but that's not what that's literally not what a mentor is. To me, like what a mentor helps you process your ideas, helps you guide you on your journey. A mentor doesn't say, do this, and it won't work.
No, that would be the worst way to learn how to trade.
Yeah. There's a guy called my trading mentor, and you know what? He sat me down, was at the bar, was at the Croc Rock. Fun times, by the way. This was years ago. I don't even know if it's still around. And what he basically told me was how much of the journey and the grind was, because I was hanging out with Sean and a couple of the traders on a Friday when presumably the floor had made a bunch of money.
Who is your trading mentor?
No, it was Saj at the time. And it was,
Saj?
Yeah, and essentially what happened, it was for one evening. And everyone was spending money at the bar and talking about how great everything was, and I was like into it. I already wanted to do it at that point. And he just pulled me aside and he said, hey, look, you're getting a bit of a rose-colored glasses feel because everybody just had a good day. He goes, this is a grind. This is how many people didn't succeed.
Right.
And from there, I was just like, and that was it. Like I never actually talked specific trading strategies with him that I use. We literally trade, like nothing I ever traded had anything to do with stuff that he traded. But it was that kind of a reality check that he used to give me. And we had some other things. We both like science fiction and whatnot. But it was that. Like, that's what a mentor gives you. They don't tell you what to do. They give you a better thought process to your trades. That's what I kind of hope we're getting. Right? Like, you can, like, coaching is, that's maybe a better word to put it in there. Like, you can have.
So I've never had any coaching.
Well, that's, I mean,
that would be better.
Yeah, like, however you want it. It doesn't really matter.
No, but I didn't say no one, and no one's telling anybody how to trade. I mean, obviously, you don't take the same trades I do.
Well, yeah.
You know, I don't take the same trades you do.
Thing.
It's just, what I'm saying is I think the best way to actually learn how to trade is by sitting there and doing it for yourself, right? I mean, that's why 98% of traders fail. It's because they basically listen to other people. And I just really think that that's the wrong methodology, right? Is to go ahead, you know, learn off of other people, fine, but at the same time, if you're not comfortable trading and you're unable to make money, you know, give it a go, give it a try. But there's so many people, even people that have been watching this, that are like, oh my God, I've lost so much money. Now we're here to learn. And I think that's the one thing that I can hopefully try to tell everybody.
I'm going to respond to Clean Daddy for something.
Yeah, you
keep
can.
Saying
and
this,
then
this
we would also notice that, around here, when we have traders coming through these doors, we talk about the success rate being 10 to 20%. That's not the greatest success rate for like a prop floor, let alone people that are spending their own money, right? And I think that level is probably even pretty high. So stay in your grind, and like Neil was mentioning before, there's going to be months where people make zero money, for sure. And you have to be able to be mentally tough to withstand those kind of months as well.
Tough and agile.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to go almost 13 years with no negative months. We've continued to elevate our trading game, even as we're live here trading with you guys on the show. One thing that I was really nervous about was giving up the edge and giving up all of this when we went over to the show. But I'm actually gotten better as a trader, and continue to hopefully motivate, educate, and teach with all of you. Shout out to Chill Vibes and all that. Yeah, we should probably change topics.
Nah, it's not a big deal. It's just everyone's going like back and forth. The thing about any discussion on something important is you should have like different perspectives, but it's not even something we disagreed on. It's basically just semantics and diving in. And I wanted to just quickly come back to the IBIT trade for this reason. And again, this was something where if you don't execute on a strategy like that, like you can't really know what's happening, because my indicator was something that was happening either on the tape or on the level 2. Right? So when thing X or thing Y happens on the tape or the level 2, you got to put the execution on so that you know what you would get. Because then I can't judge the trade. I can simply say this is right around when everybody was back bidding above 60,000, and I could try to draw a line in the chart and then see how it would have worked. Or I can make an execution and then know what price you get at that moment, and know what price I get at that moment, and then be able to judge the trade. And I can set a stop for when the reverse happens, and then all of a sudden you know whether that strategy works. And again, it was just an idea for that one. And that's a trade that I'll pull on at least a couple more times if we get it. Will we get 60,000 on Bitcoin? I have no idea. But I do know if I didn't try it when I was looking at the 60,000 level, when was I gonna get another chance to test that trade or test that idea? So you almost have to do it, because otherwise I'm wasting the opportunity. And if we see 70,000 or 50,000 or 55,000 or something like that, then I'll have an idea that I can put on there. And it's just about idea development and trading. We're getting a bit of a crest here in US steel, so it's finding some support and it's on a higher low. I've already taken another leg out here at 60, and just because it's slowing down, usually I would try to hold it down to like 40s and 50s, but it's telling me that it's showing some support. So I got some out there in front of 39.50. Let's go to Adair at the desk.
Interesting update here. Keep an eye on Boeing. Semaphore reporting here that the U.S. Department of Transportation watchdog is now watching over the FAA in its audit of Boeing. So I guess making sure that the FAA does not Boeing get off too easily. They want to make sure that everything is taken care of there. So now the overall overseeing of Boeing by the FAA also being overseen by the Department of Transportation. Basically, more people looking into Boeing here, guys.
Yeah, Boeing actually it bounced through VWAP, but you know what? The market came down, and now it's responding by just holding it again. So it would be a good thing if Boeing started to become immune to negative news, right? Like I actually said this the other day, that what am I looking for an excuse to go long in Boeing? And I'm talking about like long term, not really day trading it, because you couldn't day trade it that way. So what I'm looking for is either a run of no bad news, and then they report on Wednesday, I think, then a run of no bad news in the market, and then a positive report, and then it can start going. But the other way to play it is, do they start going up when there's bad news? Because if a stock stops responding negatively to bad news, that can also signal a turn. It's like, well, nobody cares anymore. They just kind of think the bottom might be in, and take your shot and run. But it is worth watching. There was some chatter about Palantir. I saw some people in the chat excited about. I did that thing where
What the?
I'm an old head, man. Sometimes if I type in 4 letters, I automatically go to NASDAQ. And if I type in 3 letters, I automatically go to New York. Palantir, I guess it spiked through VWAP on the news, and now it's just back underneath. Yeah, you know what? The Palantir looks more like it's breaking down on the daily still underneath that recent low. I'm not really seeing a trade on Palantir. I thought maybe you guys were talking about it on strength as well. But unfortunately, nothing going there.
All right. I mean, I can answer this. What's up, Chill Vibes? Do you think today was hard for traders? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one of them is Adara positive traders today on the floor. So yeah, a little bit tough for sure, and the losses outweigh the gains. So yeah, it was a tough day, I would say, overall. But again, I just think if everybody stays with what they're doing, and again, it is going to be a little bit different because everybody's strategies are different. So just, yeah, to answer your question, I think it was a tough day, apparently. So that was that. Okay, we were at 15 on Tesla. Okay, we talked about this trade. So we're trying to make this 40 cents. It stopped at 14s. We went to go get a coffee, and yeah, it stopped there. But we'll get it now. So there it is right now. If we do a little bit of a face slapper there as we do another one there for everybody on Tesla, we'll see how far that one can go up. And then let's just get this out if we break above the 50 period. 54.22. I mean, honestly, let's just do it like it is. 54.23. We'll put a stop order in there. We'll get out if we do that. And that's what we're doing right now, man. We're showing you guys our trades, our executions, our ins, our outs. That is that. So yeah, no problem, Chill Vibes. All right, so that's that. TQ starting to come down. So we just did take off some risk there. I'm hoping Tesla can go up. But you guys asked us a question about like, how did we, you know, how do you pick your stocks? How do you do this? How do you do that? Like, I basically have stuck with, and we're going to go one, I mean, like I said, we know this doesn't matter, but we will have 2 negative names and 6 positive names. So we'll go 6 and 2 today, and it's just a matter of just scanning through. Like, we didn't trade the TQs, but when the market made this kind of a move, and again, this just comes with experience, right? That's it, right? We talk about that. That was a big move. There was really nothing happening. So when that went up to VWAP, to me, that's an absolute no-brainer trade. So that one, we saw that. It's similar, like we just said. Neil brought it up. Microsoft, I think, went exactly to VWAP.
Right to VWAP.
Right, and so like these are no-brainer trades if you're on the stock. But you got to be on the stock.
Well, that's something you pick the stock, yeah.
No, you just got to be, yeah. You got to know what you're looking for. You know, we thought we knew what we were looking for here with NVIDIA until we got stopped out. But I feel like that's the right trade. You know, Coinbase, I mean, this is the right trade. You know, so the next time I see coin running and or the market running, or Bitcoin, I will head over to Coinbase and try to make this trade. So, okay, so now Tesla, after making, we got it at 10s there, not 15. So after making 30 cents, we now go red 14 cents on this trade as it pulls right back down again. So I'm wondering if sitting on hands might be the best thing to do right now. So
I'm only laughing because someone was trash talking the coffee.
This?
It's our coffee. We have like I actually don't remember how expensive the espresso machine is.
$12,005.
There you go.
I don't forget numbers.
I knew it was 5 figures, but
you don't forget numbers on this side.
it was 5 figures. But at the end of the day, no, like
no, this is almond milk. That's why it's a little bit dark.
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, like I drink my coffee black. I know you use the almond milk in there, which is actually pretty
I
healthy.
just need
for
some
you.
juice. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I mean, man. We'll go 6 and 2 today. I got like 3 hours of sleep. Like, you know, absolutely a nightmare. All right, so we'll see what happens here. And then tonight we're at the Hockey Hall of Fame. That should be a lot of fun. We're doing a charity event there. So me and a couple of the guys will head there. That should be pretty good. Yeah, and then we'll get home. We'll have a good night. And then tomorrow night we do some more stuff. And then Friday, hopefully into the weekend, nice calm weekend, get these taxes all finished.
Calm weekend.
It won't be. We have tonight is a tryout, tomorrow's a tryout. We have, my son has his team. He has an all-star game on Saturday, followed by a team dinner at Wild Wings. So that should be fun.
I haven't been to Wild Wings in a hot minute.
But that's me going out. Like I just go out with all the parents and stuff. It's just
Sometimes that's fun.
Yeah.
Because like at that time the kids are more occupied when they're all together, and then you get to talk to adults, which when you have it's you have kids, you realize your percentage of, we get to talk to you guys, but the actual percentage of talking to live adults versus kids is very skewed. So a couple of things happened. I did take some out of US Steel at 39.6. I said there was buying in there for support, so instead of waiting for it to get down into 40s and 50s, I would take some out at 60. Well, was it right? Probably not, but it ends up getting that 50 fill anyways. Now we're starting to flush. I'm going to bid in front of 39. So US Steel, the news came out, which was not new, that the administration is critical of it going into foreign hands. Wait for it to pop back up into VWAP. Remember Boeing did the same thing, I want to say 2 weeks ago? Probably 2 weeks ago. Boeing did a similar thing where it flushed, it came back into VWAP, and then it came back down. How many times have we seen that set up? Right? Like news hits, you don't get the first move, you try to make that second move if you can. But there was a question, Hertz Scrambler asking what you thought about BABA. That's the second Alibaba story. All I will say, my personal opinion, because we were asked first about it, like both of us, and you can say yours. I'm kind of, at this point, I want BABA to break out, not try to guess the bottom. And I look at this, like every single time it gets above the 50 period, I get excited about it, and it doesn't break $78. So if this closes above $78 on the weekly and takes out the 200 period moving average, to me that'll be a momentum break. And then, I already own some of this stock, but I'm not adding to it. Like this time, I'm not adding to the BABA position unless it shows me a trend reversal. Break 78, close above the 78 level. Break the 200 period moving average, show me that you're actually reversing the trend instead of trying to catch a falling knife. I still think it's a good value, but what the heck, they don't care what I think apparently. Well, not they, like the market doesn't care what I think about Alibaba or what anybody thinks. Let it turn into a long and then go long. Because right now, I mean, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, right? Usually that's used to describe short selling, but how true has that been of Alibaba trying to catch bottoms, right? Like, I remember hearing about
bottoms is so dangerous.
Well, I remember we were talking about Alibaba, and look, I tried Alibaba at 2 years ago at 150 and lost, and then the second time I think at a 125 it stopped out at 90 something or whatever.
Like if you were ever going long on Alibaba, pretty much in the history of the stock, unless you caught it during that COVID bump.
But all I did differently this time, I put in 20%, and I refused to add to it till it shows me a trend reversal.
Yeah,
so like that's, I'm just adjusting the,
it's at 68.
adjusting the strategy. ARM now down 12%, continue to make lows. Nasty, 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 this stock. Yeah, I'm not picking the bottom on this one either. It ain't gonna happen because their earnings are gonna tell either it's ridiculously overvalued, 1,600 is the price to earnings, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, ARM is dangerous because of that exact reason. We don't actually know where it's gonna stop once it gets going. So, all right, Tesla, this is hopefully not a company we need to worry about going too bankrupt or anything, but we are near levels that you bears out there may be salivating for, because if we break a psychological level of 150, the NASDAQ, isn't even really down that much. We've pulled back, I think, about 6% now. I'm going to have to double check that as the numbers keep changing, it seems like, all the time. But there it is right now. Tesla, ooh, yeah, that's right. Our charts don't split adjust. There's that 150 level. So if you lose that, I almost feel like everybody that was buying, and it's me included, in here and around the 170s, thing is, we always were like, oh, okay, we have that bottom here at 150. So it was always like, okay, breathe easy, there's a bottom here. But then when that bottom breaks, then I think you're looking at 130, 120 before that ship is righted. And those robo-taxis might be pretty nice, but they're not like necessarily on the horizon per se. I was just bidding, I'm bidding 21s. Okay, I thought I was bidding 31s. We're bidding 21s, 156.21. Remember we said that we would want to get something in there. Right now we are underwater on this trade because we got out of half for 35 cents or whatever it was, and now we are out 45 cents. So we are now out on this trade, but looking to buy some more somewhere in here. That bottom was 10, so we're just going to buy 20s. So let's see if it comes in for us on this one. That, of course, is Tesla. So, and on Tesla note, the one stock that I didn't get to today was actually XPEV, because we were looking, but it didn't. So it got as low as 720. So I was waiting at 710. We talked about that earlier. And then I was waiting for a break of this basic high. I wrote down 770 on the sticky note, but we would have taken this 760. It's just, we talked about this on the first show. It just never broke it. So we didn't get that opportunity to go long on XPeng. Looks like it wants to work. It's up 4.5% on news with Volkswagen. So there's news on that. There's news with Adara.
Keep an eye on SNAP here. We initially had that move up for Snap Inc. off of the story that the TikTok bill will be fast-tracked. Now we're getting a new story here from Axios saying that the position or the provision has been revised by the House here to make a longer time frame for the sale or divestment of TikTok from ByteDance. Basically giving more time for ByteDance to divest TikTok also makes it more likely that the bill will pass. So interesting note here from Axios suggesting it could be more likely for the TikTok bill to pass. Keep an eye on that with regards to Snap.
Yeah, I think that's the best one to go to. Google could catch some headwinds there with Instagram stories, and then
Google, Meta, Snap
with Instagram.
Those are the three. I think whenever those headlines hit, Snap moves, but Google probably provides you with a little bit more protection that it's going to hold up. Yeah, I'm not going to force trades, right? Like at the end of the day, U.S. Steel set up for me, so we took it. Rivian set up, and then the news dropped. It was actually, I don't know that news is going to happen. There we go. Can enter a few times and eventually it works. I don't know that news is going to happen, but we had two breakouts on Rivian. One was good. The second one, news dropped literally as I was in it. I was actually in the midst of consolidating, and then it broke to the downside. If I had a crystal ball, I probably would have reversed that trade, but I don't have a crystal ball. So all I can do is get out of the trade when it doesn't work. Otherwise, I'm holding it to what? And then the other thing we put on was U.S. Steel, like I said, and that one's working to the downside. Look, burgers, they're not going to sell TikTok. I think we all know that. It's divest. That's all anyone's ever said, right? Like I don't think that's actually the case. I don't think anyone said they're going to sell TikTok, right?
I mean, I'm over all this TikTok stuff. I mean, China bans U.S. technology. I don't see the problem with us banning TikTok at all. So, I mean, and at least if you're not going to ban it, I don't mind the idea, because banning it doesn't make much sense. It's literally the same as everything else. It's just we don't want all of the accounts and all the tracking and all the data going to the Chinese government, which is what's happening right now. So if you guys like that, that's cool. But for me, I'd rather see that divested. So yeah. All right, Emily, you mentioned for Neil put on a trade. I mean, we just got filled there at that bottom. We gave everybody 156.20. I just took it out there at 45 for a piece. We now do have a piece of this on. We're looking for a breakthrough 156. So hopefully that doesn't wind up happening. So we'll just keep on taking this and starting to add to, you know, what's going on here with Tesla. So hopefully this will come back in. It just shows my new position there because it does first in, first out stuff. So that's the one thing that like our software doesn't do. It doesn't show you like the average price after all is said and done. So right now we're going to wait to see what happens here with Tesla. We did buy that dip against VWAP, and then oopsies. I'd be pretty happy. Like if we can get something out at 50, first of all, that would be good as we bounced around there a little bit. Here it comes back in. And then, you know, anything at the 50 period is 157. I mean, that would be quite a big trade if we're able to do that. So I'm not sure that's going to come through. And then also at the 200 period for 70. So those are some quick targets. Realistically, we could probably, you know, like just this one trade right here makes the day. So if you have, you know, these kind of trades and these kind of abilities to put on big bangers, then, you know, like I said, that's kind of the thing that's changed for me, having the ability to do this, making the right calls. Sometimes you get stopped out. Holy crap. And sometimes you don't. Wow, NVIDIA. Absolute monster trade on the, look at all these shorts. Boom, 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 boom. Like if you're trading options, man, you are cleaning the hell up. I wish, I gotta change it. It says gates of hell, and I keep thinking that, and I push it. But if we had options, yeah, that's, NVIDIA's going there right now. Oh man, now I really am getting upset because yeah, if we did have options, man, we could probably be killing this because you wouldn't just scalp it out like that. There it is, nice move to the downside. Let's see what happens here as NVIDIA is really giving it up, man. We had AMD. You guys want to talk about having the ability. Neil just said about Rivian switching it up. I mean, we were going long AMD until we found that hit at 160, and then we took our last piece out down there at 156.60, so that's 350 worth as well. Now you're making new lows right there, and this is why it's so important to trade your style and do your thing, because despite the market making this big move, we're sitting here and Tesla's trying to get going back up to the upside. So let's see if it can try to hold this. Yeah, we wrote down on here that we actually like the Tesla long in and around 155, 156. So we're into that rate now. Let's see if the market will participate with this and hold some of these levels.
Exactly. And again, fine strong stocks go long, fine short stocks or weak stocks go short. And for the whole like put positions out, there's one position. I had a couple of things, but like I said, Rivian, bad news came out. I don't know whether it would have worked if that news didn't drop. Maybe it still wouldn't have worked on the long anyway.
What was that news?
No, it was just that they're going to do cost cutting like Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
And look, Apple and the Mag 7 go up when they're cost cutting because what Meta did, right? So Meta did extreme cost cutting measures and ramped so much that now every time a Mag 7 name says it, it should be taken as good news because that's what happened. But EV names, it's like basically you're admitting demand's a problem and you're admitting the bad things because Tesla went down when they did it, so Rivian goes down. And it lost, but I'm not going to force a trade. I'm not going to go back on the bid. The only thing I reloaded was US Steel because it was moving. And again, you risk 10 to 15 cents. It's already down at this 39.30 and can just hold on to it to see if it flushes. If something happens in Peloton, I'll let you guys know. That's a different story. I'm still waiting for Peloton to break $3. I've been shorting it in the teens and tens, into 3 even. It just doesn't seem to want to break it. It was TSM I wanted to get to because tomorrow night you actually get, not to say anything negative about the earnings. Obviously, UAL was a monster. If you traded UAL long on earnings today, you're a big winner. But the big earnings this week are TSM and Netflix. And TSM, we talk about like flat bottoms. If they have an ASML type of day, just have a look at the support at the 135. ASML was down 8% today. And I'm not saying TSM is going to have a bad number, but if they do, there is some serious potential downside. And I don't think the chip names are going to do very well. Again, look at today when you had one shoe drop with ASML. I think the same thing's going to happen with TSM. If they have a red day, I think you're going to look for some shorts. And I was really only looking for shorts for the most part on the chip names. Although AMD, I could have done a heck of a lot better by getting in a third time. Because I was shorting pops and I didn't short a breakdown. And the best trade was a flat bottom break. Again, how many times have we said that today? Flat bottom breaks in a trending down market are good. Same way breakouts are good in the bull market, flat bottom breaks are what you're looking for, especially big ones, because it was good shorting the pop, but the second this took out the week's low, it was just a different acceleration on AMD. I'm glad you got it, because, well, the NVIDIA 850 I wasn't sitting here for, so.
Yeah, you might have lost on that one. That only went $2.
I actually think I would have lost on it.
That was, no, not just you and specifically. Like,
I think I would have lost on it.
Yeah, like depends. Well, I was able to win, but we had to reload it on that. It was not, that was a very tough break, but I do agree, man. I mean, top breaks, bottom breaks, especially, but you need a trending market, and we definitely have that right now. And I mean, that's a big one. I have some sort of a, it's not bad news, it's only for me. Tesla did not break 156.50 there. So I don't know what it was doing at all. It spiked up to 60. I was at 65. Sitting there watching it, thinking it was going to go, and then it just kept on bouncing its head off 50. So I'm going to put an order here at 50. Hopefully we can get a piece out. Tesla's not looking super strong here. It just failed off that top. So, I mean, look, I have an order to get out. So right now we're 15 cents in the money. I mean, that's not something to be super pleased with here on Tesla. But again, it is a stack up moment. We're doing that right now. Every single profit we take puts us at the highest spot. We're not making up for losses. We're not doing anything. It's been a good day. It's only 337 right now. We still have the short in the TQQs, and we do have a dare on the desk.
This part of the show brought to you by Trade Ideas. This really easy platform to use, and you can actually get real-time scanning and alerting used in our desk by many of our traders every single day, and you can check what's moving in the moment using the platform. All you have to do is check out the link in the description, and you can get 20% off. So thank you to Trade Ideas. We also do have a story here as well with regards to Tesla TSLA. So according to this warn notice, which is basically notification with regards to mass layoffs, we did know Tesla was having these layoffs, but now there's a warn notice saying that Tesla is set to lay off 285 workers effective as of July 15th. I'm not seeing anything as for location, but warn notice seems to be affecting California, so this could be related there. If I find anything else, I will let you guys know, but this warn notice in effect for TSLA, guys.
The chill vibes, because Neil and I went back and forth about learning and figuring all that out. You see, So Chill Vibes goes, at me because I'm talking Tesla. Tesla was holding good though, like a beast today. And then my response is, that's why we're in. So, I mean, that is the reason. So you are exactly, you could be the Padawan, I don't know, but that is exactly why we're into Tesla. We talked about that. We had seen that. It had the moves. When the market wanted to go, we liked Tesla. We thought Tesla was holding pretty good in here. We kept on getting little by little into here. Obviously, as this market tanks, I mean, the best play would have been that NVIDIA trade that we had, or AMD, or Intel, or, yeah, you're not in Intel anymore, or Intel, or anything like that to the short, because some of these names really are giving it up. But that is exactly why, Mr. Vibes, why we're in this. Because
Mr. Good Vibes?
Mr. Good Vibes.
You know what that is? It's Dr. Good Vibes. Never mind.
Yeah.
It was Dr. Good Vibes.
But what is that from still?
That's from Cops.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The cartoon.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I feel like I know that from somewhere.
No, it was Cops.
But here we go. So remember, I still have a stop of Tesla
Dr. Bad Vibes.
breaking through 156, a little bit lower than that, like 155.75. We've gotten a piece out there. It could be bad. The market's coming back down. We much prefer the shorts. We're still holding this. Just hearing that there's sites in Buffalo, unfortunately. Shout out to our friends down in Buffalo. They're going to be losing their jobs at whatever Tesla. They don't have a plant in upstate New York, do they? But anyways, here we go. Tesla starting to make the moves down. I don't know if there's more job cuts, but I am hearing. There it is. Tesla to lay off. Is that what? Okay, Adaira's at the desk, or is that Brendo over there? No, that's Adaira. My bad. I just saw. I didn't know where she was. But here's Tesla right here. 285 workers. Layoffs expected. If we can come to the screen, and then we'll go to Adaira. I just want to bring this story because a lot of people are probably trading this. Layoffs expected mid-July. So July 15th. This is coming from Reuters. So this probably does change all of our decisions here for Tesla. So watch out. That's a new story right here. Tesla's breaking lower. Unfortunately, we said this already. They got hit on that layoff news at the beginning of the week. It looks like more news happening now, but the market is also getting crushed. So we'll still stay in this. Our net is fluctuating, but we do have this cover at least with the TQ. So, all right, without any further ado, it's Adaira at the screen.
Yeah, with regards to that Tesla story, just quickly as well, I wasn't able to see if that was a specific separate layoff, but I know it was in effect through this warn notice, which is a notification required for mass layoffs. So keep that in mind. I will, when I go back, see if there's any more updates to that story from when I initially saw it. But right now, we are going to take a look at some of these S&P 500 names making larger moves that maybe we didn't discuss earlier, including here Uber to the downside about 3%. Basically, some reports that senators are looking for information on delivery companies' junk fees, so the fees that are hidden until it's time to purchase. UBER to the downside on that. We also have Abbott Laboratories down about 3% after its earnings. They beat across the board, but they did forecast on their range here on the lower side of the consensus for Q2 2024 projections for EPS. Last but not least here, we have GEV. So this is GE Vernova. This is a little while after we had that split for GE. Now we're getting some initiation of price targets for GE Vernova. Both of these pretty bullish ratings here with outperform ratings for both Exane BNP Paribas and Raymond James. So this one actually to the upside, guys.
Oh, man, we should have got more in on Tesla down there, but we did get something in. Our last fill down there was 156 flat. We just took some out at 15 there because that was our average price. Now our average price is 07s. So I'm just kind of laughing. There is a seller here, 20,000 shares. So this is what that, well, I should have done that. I should drop it down like this. So there is a seller here for 20,000 shares. Oh, where'd they go? Oh, they're gone now. Okay, so maybe there is room to go up right now. This is called level 2. So as you see more data down here, you can search to see if there's any big orders. So I don't see any big orders. All of these numbers that, yes, sir, let's go. All of these numbers that you see on ours, I was watching the time and sales there. All the numbers that you see here are 100 lots. So when you see this, that's 100, 400, 400, 200. So that's just even lot shares, and then there's a lot of trading, of course, in the dark book. And here we go, man. Let's just face slap it out a little bit. Let's go back up to the upside. Maybe the market wants to rally into the close. It's 345. We're here. We're ready to go. We do have our stop, though. 54. I'm doing this stop now. 54.13 as we change. So we'll go down 10 cents. We're getting close to the TQs. 54.16. That'll be our out. And when we talk about stop orders, here's a perfect example. I can watch this stock and trade it, but that's my stop. part of having a stop in is also understanding that it helps me not change my mind. So if it comes out, and I'm like, okay, that just came out. And by the way, Tesla right now is rocking. I'm going to take an offer. Boom, right there. Okay, so we get that offer out there on Tesla in the 30s. There it goes. All right. Hey, what's up to a million? Everybody else? Oh, oops, sorry, that's the wrong stock. We just took an out right there on Tesla. So, you know, and this is what we mean about different things, right? Like, I'll see something, it doesn't mean Neil hops into it, and vice versa. So when I talked about this trade, I liked it, I put it on. Now we're starting to get more out of Tesla, and it's starting to ramp up again. So I just appreciate everybody looking, watching, and I mean, I hope that everybody indivially found trades. I mean, there's 7,000 names.
Like, maybe you just took.
Remember how much we used to trade a firm? We haven't even looked at.
Don't talk to me about a firm this week.
Oh,
Firm
really?
had a really great short opportunity. I mean, it always has a great short opportunity. I'll show that in a quick second. Two things. One, Bob, I answered you in the chat. I'm not going to make Sean repeat the first in, first out thing with our trading. So your prices, it's first fill in, first fill out. WISA, WISA is halted to the upside at $9. TAP is $9. Maybe you had this for a breakout trade. This is not an unreasonable strategy, I suppose. Stock that was a low float runner holds a breakout price. Like, it pulls back in, but it holds above the previous close, and that top there is 650. Consolidates, higher low at 7. Maybe you like it 7 to there, or you like a breakout at 8 into a halt. When it opens back up, if it can hold VWAP, I think it has a chance at a second leg, but very key that it can hold VWAP. And there was something else I was going to get to. It wasn't TSM earnings. We already talked about that. Now I've lost my train of thought when I was answering that Bob thing. It'll come to me in a second.
Well, what about, well, you're in X?
It wasn't, no, I've talked about X, Peloton, I said if it moves, I'll go over it. No, it was a firm. Yeah, we were just talking about a firm. No, the reason I was frustrated with a firm is because we keep talking about following the trend, and look at the trend on this stock and how cleanly this is to the downside ever since it's sort of rejecting these levels. And the lower high at 48, underneath the 50 period. Well, it broke recent support this week, so the most recent support level at 32, that broke, didn't have that trade. Then the next day, it did that first failure. It was like a free money, just short the 30 break. And as long as you're someone that takes profit on a break trade, which I am, then you would have won on that trade. And then today, I don't know if you would have, maybe you would have shorted the pop on it, but it was more how clean the 30 break was. But I want to shout out to the community, who I know a couple of people captured that trade. A, because you probably hear us talk about shorting, and you noticed the trend, and then you were at least paying attention when it broke the 30 level yesterday. A lot of things were fantastic in the morning yesterday. This was just another opportunity that you could add out there. It's 346, so I'm going to tighten up the stops. One of them I already did, and I'm going to tighten up the stop again on US Steel. I think you can get to 39. I've canceled my 39 bid. Instead of having it back to 60, I'm going to stop it out underneath above 40. So I don't use trailing stops. I actually set manual stop orders. I don't say if it retraces 15 cents, I'm going to get out. I look at a key level, generally speaking, when I'm going to trail, and then just say if it breaks that consolidation up, that's going to be my hard stop. So that's what I'm doing in US Steel. We'll see about the imbalances. I did check to see if there was anything individually, and other than BAC, 3 million to bid, they reported this week. Enbridge is always there. Nothing stood out of the early look. So we'll have to wait to see 350 if anything jumps off the page. Mm-hmm. And WISA is pumping again.
Ah, man. I also want to say something about what it takes to become a trader, just because, like, you need to be in front of your screens, like, literally every day. That's another thing. Like, you know, don't take any time off if you're going to be a trader. Like, treat this as, you know, what you want to do. So that's another thing that's really helped. Okay, so the TQs goes up, we get out, so good. Tesla's not moving, so not good. I mean, not much is happening here with Tesla. It's just kind of hanging out right now. We'll see what happens if it does go back up to the upside. There's the out on the TQs. I mean, we don't have that very bottom, but this is going to be another good trade. So my number one trade today is NVIDIA, P&L wise. Number two, actually, is AMD. We've already talked about that. Then Google, then TQs, then Tesla position pending. So some good trades there today. Where we lost was IBIT. I literally have the low of the day in the whole cryptocurrency market, 33.99. That's the low of the day on IBIT. That's me. That's my fill right there. So again, battle back. Like, I only traded 8 names. One of them I have the absolute worst tick whatsoever. This is my #1 red name today. We have 2 red names. We have this, and then we have Amazon. So after that, man, I mean, that's bad. And then we shorted. We actually made some decent money short there, and then we shorted again. Shorted a small piece there. Then we got serious with it up at VWAP. Chug that water there, as we say. Shout out to everybody. We tried it again at VWAP, so shout out to Hydration Nation. Shout out to Shakib if you're here. That didn't work. So I'm going to probably lose on that maybe 8 times out of 10 because it came into a decent level. I thought there was some support there. We let it get a little carried away. That's IBIT and its downside. Tesla's starting to go up. Like I said, the minute I get out of this, let's put an order at 50 right now, and then we'll get out of that if it comes up to 50. Literally 50 exactly. WISA is now back open. It opens up at 9.50. Again, congratulations to anybody that plays these names. It was a good one. $7 held pretty much all day. I mean, we did break to 675, but I would assume that if you're trading this, you're probably holding out for that. Nice move there for WISA. 950, good move. Let's see if Tesla can get going. Yeah. Oh shoot, imbalances just dropped.
They just dropped their TLT.
Wow, we're getting late.
Million. Enbridge, here's about Enbridge. Apple, 988,000 to the buy side.
Yeah, screw you,
JBLU, that's when is that ever closing? Intel, sell side, 700,000. Micron, 650,000. Looks like Apple's the big one at 1 million shares. Obviously, notional value, that's way more than, I mean, Intel's a $30 stock, so Intel needs to be millions. Marvell's a sell of 500,000. There's Tesla's 500,000 to sell. I mean, that's not it's not a lot, but Tesla doesn't always show up on the imbalance locator at all.
Usually sell?
Yeah. But it's only 500,000 shares.
That's
Apple's the big one, but then that's only 1 million. We've seen, like, when Apple moves, sorry, I was still on WISA there. Apologies. Apple, I mean, it kind of moved, but not really. Like, see, that didn't really do anything to Apple. A million buy imbalance, Apple popped 25 cents. That's not nothing, but it's not a big deal. And it doesn't mean, look, at the end of the day, we talk about the imbalances because it's information, and some days it matters and some days it doesn't. And you just want to be prepared the day that it does matter to take opportunities when they do lie. I think I took one maybe a month or so ago. And you just take the shot when it's there. Nothing happening. So U.S. Steel, I'm not going to tighten the stop. I think I've already done it. But I am going to get back on the bid to the 39. So I had 2 trades. Obviously, U.S. Steel we took a couple times.
Nice.
Rivian, unfortunately, it might have lost anyways because the market came back into the lows, but the news did drop. We traded with a stop order, not to harp on it, but if I don't use a stop order on Rivian, then that is my worst stock of the day. And, oh, by the way, I actually, before that on Bitcoin, I had the low on IBIT because I stopped out the long on the previous move to 30,000 or 60,000. I actually had this long into here, and I had that stop out as we are going to go to Adara before the close.
So more context on that Tesla warn notice with regards to the cut of 285 jobs at the Buffalo plant. That's actually 14% of the Buffalo plant workforce. So just recontextualizing that warn notice, 285 jobs, but 14% of the Buffalo plant seeing layoffs effective July 15th for TSLA.
I'm like, what's the best way to put it?
Here we go.
Like, I'm not in, like, obviously we live here, but I'm a Buffalo fan.
Sir.
I love it down there. So I'm going to hope that everyone is well. Obviously, you wish that in every single sense, but don't worry because the Bills are going to make a move on draft day to get the receiver we need, and the rumor has it that they're already going to trade up to Pittsburgh's pick and then grab the guy we need.
Good.
So apparently,
I hope they get neighbors.
If the right guy's there, the rumor is that it's a done deal if the right guy's there. I actually think it's his teammate Thomas. If Thomas falls to 20, Buffalo trades up.
20. Oh yeah, neighbor's not going there.
Neighbor's the top. The Bills don't have enough ammunition to trade into the top 10.
Okay.
It's not this year. Oh, I just got trailed out of U.S. Steel, so I don't know. I'm on that page, so I'll hit that one. I don't know. The cool ones are on my other page. So it's like 39.25. U.S. administration again talking negatively about the U.S. Steel Nippon trade. It popped into VWAP. Just when we see this setup on news, just going to take it till it stops working. It worked fantastically with Boeing a couple weeks ago. It worked again here with US Steel. Peloton, one of these days, Peloton is going to flush through $3. And I just want to be there when it happens. The last couple of days has been shorting pops into here and shorting VWAP, looking for the $3 break, which is not coming. So I'm in the money. At best, I was in the money like 4 or 5 cents, and I should just get on the bid because it's the end of the day.
All right. So we just have a little small piece here. You know what? Let's just change this to a 156 break, so we will lose absolutely nothing here at the end of the day. That's that. We are having, I mean, again, another pretty decent day. I want to thank everybody for watching. The plays are here. They're here every day. We have Tesla, we have Intel, we have Google longs, we have the NVIDIA flush on here. Everything's been working out really well. And again, just keep coming back, keep sitting in the stocks that you like, trade the names that you like. It's now 355. Tesla could motor on here on these imbalances, especially if they flip the other way. So I have a stop. There it is right there. It's a
that's
sell.
not the page. No.
Oh, no. How do you cancel that?
I don't know. Can I hit it again and it cancels? There you go.
I just hit the bang button.
I was lining up.
That's okay. That's okay. I got this.
It was the second you finished speaking.
I'm kind of like a producer a little bit. You know
I was going to say.
Except for forgetting that we don't have a recap show.
Well, that's what I was going to get to.
Here goes Tesla.
Today, the podcast is being taped instead of usually it's on Friday, so no recap show today. But you know what? I think a lot of the recap happened in the afternoon because we're able to go the wins, the losses, all that good stuff. And if you enjoyed what you saw today, if you liked the show,
take this opportunity to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's lots of bangs. Yeah, see that for some reason I think that needs to be rendered again because it gets choppy.
Yeah,
that one.
Okay, so I'm not using that one again. We'll hit some of them. We'll hit some of the other ones. I wanted to use.
Yeah.
I'm always using the Mr. T one.
I mean, the best one is the Sharif one, but I mean, he's not here. But normally it's in his contract. We have to play it a certain amount of times.
I like using it when he's here, but why not?
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and share the show that takes you into the heart of the market every.
No, that one's choppy too. What the heck?
Yeah, there's some up with those. So we won't hit those again. But
chill vibes, yes. Netflix earnings tomorrow after the bell. TSM earnings tomorrow after the bell. I believe. I don't know if we have it. Do we have the earnings board? I know for sure one name.
I think we do. Didn't we have it? We had it earlier, didn't we?
Can we do earnings?
Or was that yesterday that I was like, "Where's the earnings board?"
There we go.
Oh yeah, we did not have it earlier.
So I remember, I'm old enough to remember when we used to consider Alcoa the first in the earnings. But tomorrow, wait a minute. Yeah, so it's like April 27th to 28th.
Yeah, LVS.
Where is it? There was something aftermarket today. Now I'm staring at them.
Maybe it was LVS.
Okay, maybe it was LVS. Okay, no, it must have been Las Vegas Sands. And then we're going to get, obviously, tomorrow, you've got Alaska Airlines. Maybe that matters. Nokia. Sometimes that's a thing. DR Horton, that could matter. Obviously, TSMC is what everybody cares about.
Oh, no, we're missing one. Do we have, oh, no, CSX is there. Okay, that's the biggest one, 67 billion. I was just looking on here. If you come over, this is another tool that we can use as well. We produce our own earnings, but I look at this earnings board. So there's Kinder Morgan tonight. There's Las Vegas Sands as well. So yeah, so a couple names, and then Alcoa as well. So yeah, it should be good. Alcoa will be nice to see. We talked about, I mean, you were trading X today, US Steel. So there could be something there
give it to you.
as well. X is going to give it to you. And Tesla is getting it given to them as well. As this market starts to head down, we continue to have Apple sell off. We continue to see, I didn't even look at Marvell in just a minute, but that's still going down. I remember, wasn't this $80 or $90? Wait a second.
That was the earnings move when I was in Paris, right?
Wow. March? No. Yeah, a month ago. Nice move up there to $85, now down to $66.
Oh, God, it was.
If you don't think these chip names are going for a dive, I have a couple magic beans to sell you. All right, so there's JP Morgan as
that's
well.
A Head and Shoulders.
180 on JP Morgan looking to go lower as well. Still heading lower. Oh man, oh man. I'm glad that we were able to raise some capital. You never ever raise enough for these moments. But again, you know, stay, as we say, not just stay in your grind for trading, but stay in your grind for your disciplined investing as well. Because, you know, although the market's down 1% today, if you're dollar cost averaging and thinking about that, this is actually a great time to pick up some shares. I'm not going to do that today, but as this market continues to fall down, we'll probably talk about that on the podcast. Look for some levels. We're getting close. check out some different ETFs, right? If you are getting nervous about, hey, which bank do I buy? The XLF is also near its 50-period moving average as well on the downside. I like XLI. Industrials, we've talked about XLV for healthcare. I think it's prudent, honestly. See, here's the XLF. I know I'm just going to just wax a little bit here. I think the diamonds as well. Talk about a little bit, where is DIA? There it is. Talk about some names that have been beat up lately. These guys have almost all of them, man. I mean, you don't have to love it for Boeing or for Intel or for UNH. I mean, some of the names that have been in the diamonds have gotten absolutely crushed. So I think that if you do like some of those names, which I do, I like Boeing, UNH, and Intel. It's just hard to sit in there and catch a falling knife.
Where's the 200 on?
So right there, oh, the 200 is probably way lower. It's probably down here, 360. Yeah, there. Okay, good. I was gonna say 364. Looks like that's right where it is, right there on the DIA. So I asked Brendan last podcast which one, diamonds or Qs. I think he said, or spies. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been Qs.
Didn't he say both? One of you said both.
I'm not sure. I said why not both at the end.
That's what it was. He said something
end,
and you said why not both. That's
yeah. So I just think that, you know, I mean, picking your poison. I own too much NASDAQ. So.
We have 20 seconds to go. By the way, I'm completely convinced that that's a skill. When you look at that and like your eyeballs, without even thinking about it, you're just like, 200 is probably at about 360, like you said. And now we dropped the countdown.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was going to work.
No, I honestly believe that's a skill because it's like your brain
you and I have
watching
looked
a bunch.
at so many charts.
Exactly. So in 4, 3, 2, and 1, ring it. I just wanted to finish the thought. If you get that screen time and you look at the charts, eventually, like little things like, oh, my view op's not working, it's probably right about here. That's not because you magically are Rain Man or anything like that. If you don't know the movie, I'm old. It's not because of that. It's because you've been staring at screens for your entire life. And then that's why you can intuitively just say, it's probably right around there.
Isn't that's Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman, isn't it?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Rain
Dustin
Man's
Hoffman.
a good one.
Very good movie.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, some of these names are getting closer to 200-period moving average. Palantir closes near $21. I mean, we're not going to have a market recap show, but I mean, just real quick here, let's just look at something that we do talk about on the recap show all of the time, and that is this board here. Apple 0.6 bad. NVIDIA, I mean, get ready for 800, man. Sharpen your pencils for that. AMD down 5% today. That's nasty. Intel down only 1.5%. This is what I mean about buying the diamonds, okay? Like, look, 5, 3, 1. At some point, Meta down 1, Google up. We like the Google long. Oracle down 1, Netflix getting ready for earnings down 1, Amazon down 1. But look at some of the names that work today. Walmart pretty flat, Costco pretty flat. We talked about some of the retail sectors, some of the banks working out as well. This is
That's another point. That's Abbott Labs.
Abbott Labs.
Another point to ETFs. Abbott Labs smoked on earnings down 3%. The rest of the group held up really well today.
Yeah, AbbVie, Eli Lilly even, J&J, Merck, Procter. So even though we're down 1%, what I'm trying to show you here is that, primarily this little spot that says electronic technology, I feel like they need a better name for that, but these names, along with technology services, really today, helped the NASDAQ get down. And what were we down at the end of the day? 1.29. That was funny that yesterday we had red or green. And it basically, when I was on the desk, it was 0.1. I don't know what we settled on. Was it red?
I saw 0.01 red.
Okay. Yeah,
right as I saw the market close. So I declared that the people that bet myself and whatever bet that way were right, but it was essentially dead flat. But the market's not going to be flat tomorrow. It's going to move. We're going to be there for it when it does, because that's what we do every single day on this. What day is today? Wednesday?
I never know what day it is.
Oh, gymnastics. Yeah, it's gymnastics, so it's Wednesday. So Wednesday, hump day, we'll be back tomorrow,
CSX
Thursday.
is out already.
Remember, no market recap because the podcast is filmed tonight. You can check that out on Saturday. So without further ado, thank you, everybody.
NVIDIA's breaking 840.
NVIDIA is going lower, apparently, as we speak. But we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.